that's tough.
I might
How,
overheat before it.
what's the temp outside right now?
Oh, today, I mean, the weather's like actually pretty good, to be honest. It's only 85 outside.
Yeah, that's warm. That's pretty
Uh,
warm.
but yeah, it feels nice out. I have a fan in my room,
Yeah,
luckily.
that's good.
But anyhow, all is well. Let me send you the invite, the knock, the request, the stream together.
I hit accept. Don't know that it worked.
Probably not.
It's okay. I'll send it to you. Wait. Okay.
I sent another one.
Okay.
Or yeah, if you send to me, it
Did
usually
that
will
work?
get accepted. What's up, Oscar? No, it didn't.
I'm gonna just send it to you.
That's probably better. Don't you love technology?
I'm good at it and I love it.
I love the confidence.
Okay. Join the stream.
There it is.
Is that we're good? We're
Yeah,
Gucci?
look at that.
Okay,
Okay,
cool.
cool.
Hey, Guru.
All right. Um, hmm. So I think I said that we need to go over some in-game lessons.
Yeah, I think you said that the other day when I messed something up pretty bad.
Um, yeah, I was watching you play Bullet as one does, and you were dead even in material, and you were like, "All right, well, I'm even in material, so I think I should trade my rooks." And you traded everything down into a king and pawn in game,
Yeah,
except their king was already in the center, your king was still in the back rank, and they just
yeah.
walked up the board. And even though you were
And they
equal
beat
in
me.
material, they were pushing a passed pawn, and you didn't have any passed pawns, and then they just
hmm
promoted and won. And then you were like, I wouldn't do that if it was rapid.
I swear I wouldn't have.
But the thought process is different, right? Like it doesn't have anything to do with the how much time you have left. It's like knowing when to trade down. Basically, going from middle game to end game is like very dependent on like a lot of circumstances. Like material is one factor, but there's also like
hmm
king positioning, there's pawn structure. It's mostly about like pass pawns
Right.
and trying to like promote. So yeah, I think one of the most common end games would be like rook and pawn end games.
hmm
And those are gonna just forever be very difficult. Like there are grandmasters that will mess these up. Uh, because like at the end of the day, people are still human and they're just trying to like make the best of what they think at the moment. I mean, I don't know if you remember, this wasn't a game that you commentated, but I messed up a king and pawn endgame in my classical tournament in Vegas against a 2000 FIDE rated player where I was up a pawn and winning.
No, that's tragic. That's so sad.
So I feel like my lessons typically will do game review.
hmm
It might be best to just pull up my actual game
Hmm.
And what's great about having it streamed from the tournament is that they use the DGT board, which means we should
Yeah.
actually have the link of the game, so it'll make it a lot easier.
Wow. Fancy.
I know there's a whole events page and everything. Um, I have to find it first.
That's fine. Hey, Javi, welcome. We're just getting into the lesson. We haven't even really begun yet, so you're just in time.
We were waiting for you to join to start.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, okay, so in games are very tricky and there's a lot of them and it can be difficult, but they can also be really fun. It's kind of like its own little puzzle. And
Hmm.
a lot of it boils down to pattern recognition as it does, in most aspects of chess, essentially. Um, but yeah, it's really important to recognize what end games are going to be good for you and when you should go for the end game and what end games are going to be bad for you and when you should like not go into the end game. And
Hmm.
going into the end game essentially means trading
Hmm.
and not going into the end game essentially is like not trading. So, depending on what pieces you have left, if you know that the resulting like pawn structure is bad, or the end game is bad, you want to keep as many of your pieces on as possible,
Right.
and not trade. And vice versa. If you know the end game or the structure is good for you, then you want to trade down and simplify.
Hmm.
Okay, for whatever reason, these games are not loading. Okay, I've gotten it. Here we go. Let's find. Okay, I have the game. I'm gonna create a classroom and invite you to it. Okay. A good coach would have this already set up, by the way,
No, 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 no. Take your
just for
time.
anyone that's wondering what's taking me so long. Jeez Louise. Okay.
Hello, Dominic. I don't know if I said hi to you already. So sorry if I didn't.
All right, let me send you the invite. Finally. Wow, I see you with a trident
Got
flare.
it.
What's up,
Yeah.
Dirkia? I should actually announce that I'm live because I don't have the automatic bot that Jessie has. So
Oh,
she's
you
so much
don't?
more tech savvy than me.
Okay. All right.
Who was that? Who just subbed? Oh my god, it's White Noise.
White noise, 84 months? That's absurd. How many months have
Absolute
you been
legend.
streaming? That's like day one?
That's that's pretty close.
That's crazy.
It might as well be day one, to be honest.
What a
Um,
real one.
yes, I know. Shout out to White Noise. Um, but yeah, 84 months, quite a while. That's at least like a couple days.
Yeah, at least.
Um, He's going for that 100-month sub badge. Which,
Is that a thing?
no, I don't.
You'll have to make one special just for white noise.
Yeah, White Noise deserves his own badge for sure. Um, okay, so I see you've joined. I'm gonna give you both permissions before you ask for it. But okay,
Yeah.
this game it looks like I had the black pieces, which is uh probably where things went wrong. Okay, anyways, this was a classical time control game. We can look at it from the middle here. Like this is the middle game. I'm kind of getting beat, to be honest. And then he simplifies things. So this was not his best plan. I don't really know what his best plan would be, but he should probably not be trading so quickly.
Hmm.
Um, but if we just completely ignore the opening and tactics and just look at
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
from a perspective of like going from middle game to end game here, this is clearly a middle game. We still have queens on the board. We still have a few minor pieces on the board. A lot of people say once the queens are traded off, then you're already in an end game. So the queens are
Even if you have
probably,
all the other pieces?
yeah, so it's like a loose definition. It's not strict. It's not
Hmm.
black and white like chess pieces. It's kind of a
So
gray
true.
area definition, I would say. Um, so for the most part, people like to think about the queens, but the other pieces are important as well. Shout
You
out
just
to
got a
Not Franchise.
raid. Wow.
Hello and welcome everyone. We're giving a lesson to the one and only Uncle Jessie. So if you haven't checked her out, please be sure to do so. In fact, you'll probably want to go watch from her stream because it's got better lighting. Um, my AC is getting fixed right now, and my light, for whatever reason, doesn't want to work either. So,
He's
um,
struggling, but he still made it. He still made it here.
Sam, how does that work? What metric are we looking at? Where'd you see that? Um, okay, so basically, white I think has more space. My knight's really good, but they can take it at some point.
Hmm.
But this knight's also really good. Um, I don't really know what white's best move is. Maybe they want to just reinforce this knight or something. But they trade, and that helps me out. And we trade again, so I'm offering up this pawn so that my rook can take that pawn. That's exactly what we see here. So
Hmm.
we simplify. Now we have queens and rooks left, and we trade one pair of rooks. And here's where he messes up. So this is a bit of time pressure here. I instantly knew this was the game that Eskia commentated actually. Shout out to Eskia.
Mm. Which game was this for you? Like what number?
I want to say this was like round 5 or 6,
Okay,
something
near
like
the
that.
end.
Yeah. Um, so here I instantly recognize this pawn is penned, right? And he wants to
Hmm.
take with check. So
Hmm.
it's not really pinned because he can take with check, right? So if he takes with check, I can't take his rook
Hmm.
because my king's in check. So what's a good move
Right.
here?
Mm. Are you gonna push your Jeep on?
No.
Well, if you take and he takes, then
You wouldn't take with the queen.
yeah. If oh, I think I went too far.
If we take
Oh.
here, he takes like this,
Hmm.
which wouldn't be good.
Hmm.
So we don't want to take the pawn.
Well, I saw your king
Yeah.
was right here.
See, that's why I shouldn't give you the access to move the pieces. Because when you solve puzzles, you should be sitting on your hands, they say. But it's
So
okay.
true.
Anyways, or you could do arrows, but
Okay,
yeah, we
I
move
won't give it away
the
next
problem with
time.
pushing the pawn is that we're no longer attacking this pawn. This is
Yeah.
now a very safe protected pawn. So we
Mm-hmm.
move the king so that when they take the pawn, it's not with check, and now we just take the
Right, you
rook for
take the
free.
rook.
All right, Jesse's already yawning.
I've been yawning all stream.
um,
It's not you,
no,
it's
it's
me.
okay. No, it's fine. Okay, so we first get the king out, and now he's in trouble, and I know he's in trouble, and he knows he's in trouble. So we're all on the same page. He's in trouble, and this is great because I was like losing this whole game, but now the tables have turned in time pressure.
Yeah.
He
Just
makes
one
one
little
little
pawn
pawn
push,
push. Exactly. This pawn was very nice and connected. Now he's kind of on his own here. So I pin him, getting out of the check. Now
Yeah.
he realizes he's messed up. So now he's like, oh shoot, I gotta really save this pawn, right? So he wants to
Mm-hmm.
play here. I play here to stop that. He moves the king, so now the rook is defended and the pawn isn't pinned
Mm-hmm.
anymore. But now we double our rook, and now he's pinned again. So now he pushes here. His idea is to go here, right, to save the
Mm-hmm.
pawn. So now I go here. I'm attacking this pawn. He can't push because I just check, and I'm gonna take that pawn with check, and the whole house is gonna fall. So he goes here to block my queen, and now I take with the rook. So now I know I'm winning a pawn, so this is good for me to trade and to get into the end game. So
Mm-hmm.
he tries his best not to trade. But I'm up a pawn now, so I'm gonna trade. He takes back, and now I'm up a pawn, right? So I'm like, I want to trade queens.
Right.
So what do you think my opponent does?
Um,
Do you think they trade queens, or do you think they don't trade queens?
what do they do?
And you can fast forward to see.
You want me to?
No, I'm
I don't
joking.
know. Maybe they trade.
Really? You think they would trade down a pawn?
Maybe they
I mean,
do,
I feel like you
but
should
maybe
know.
they like uh I mean if not trade, then they probably just move their queen somewhere else,
So
I
they're
guess.
down a pawn. So trading queens would be strategically bad.
Hmm.
Even though my pawn's doubled, it's probably a draw. But just like general rule of thumb, if you're down, you don't want to trade, right?
Right.
And you know that.
I know
You
that.
don't want to
But
trade
what's
queens
your
here.
opponent? See, I can't
My
think like a
my
2000.
listen, you don't have
Maybe
you don't
maybe they know something I don't.
don't even think about who's playing or the ratings. We're just looking at the position. Any player of any
Okay.
rating could have this position, and even you can tell me what you think is
Oh,
good or
they
bad.
take your pawn, maybe.
Why would they do
No, they wouldn't. Why would they do that?
that? That's a great question.
Okay. Just kidding.
That was a good joke,
That's
Jesse.
probably
That
the
was
last thing
funny.
they would have done.
That's certainly one of the last
I
things.
don't know. They just move out of the way.
That's
No.
that is a good move. Yeah, that's exactly what they did. They moved queen back. Now, I give a check, I give another check, and I win a pawn. But
Oh
now
my gosh.
they
You
get
can't
this
stop.
activity here. Now they could take
Yeah,
this pawn, but then I would take that pawn.
you get
So
that one.
instead, they go forward and they're threatening some sort of perpetual. And
Mm,
they're threatening this pawn. So I give a check, and now I come back. They can take this, but I'll take this, right?
hmm.
And the main thing about this is I'm guarding this check. So now they have a check, but they don't have a second check. They don't have any
Yeah.
follow-ups. So that's the whole point of going here. Um, and just being aware of like my opponent's checks and their resources like this are important because
Hmm.
I know I'm ahead. So I'm like, I'm trying to win the game. And the way I win the game is by trading the queens off the board, right? And my
Hmm.
opponent is trying not to trade queens, and they're trying to check me, and they're trying to give a perpetual. So I have what I want to do, and I have what they want to do on the back of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And if I just try to take pawns, like if I go here, then I just get perpetualed and the game's a draw.
Yeah.
So that's not good for me. So I have to come back, and I'm guarding this repetition
Yeah.
pattern, and I'm creating a threat of my own. So it's a defensive move and an attacking move. They defend their pawn, and they're still attacking here. And now here's where things get a little shaky, but I come up with this plan to try to break down his pawn structure. But the plan involves losing material, which is
Yeah.
risky. In fact, this is probably a bad move, a drawing move, but they take, and now I break through. And now takes. Uh, Here, this position, I've lost a pawn, but I've traded queens off. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the computer will tell you this is a draw, but there's only like one or two really narrow paths that my opponent can follow to actually draw the game. So the main thing to recognize here is that I have the outside pass pawn.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a much more valuable pawn than this pawn.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why?
Mm, because he has to go further away, like from the center to get it.
Yeah, this king has to guard this. This is the promotion square, right?
Mm-hmm.
This pawn promotes on this square. So we went from up a pawn to equal pawns, but this is not necessarily, I mean, the computer will tell you it's equal. But from a human perspective, these are all isolated pawns, which means they're not
Mm-hmm.
connected. They don't have any pawns next to
Yeah.
each other. I have these two pawns that are connected, and I have this outside pawn. We both have a passed pawn. There's no pawns in front of these pawns. But mine is on the outside, which is a lot more difficult for this king to catch. Because my king is a lot closer to catching this pawn than this king is
Mm-hmm.
to catching this pawn. So now begins, I can't just run the pawn. That's not
Right.
the way. I have to bring this king back first and guard this promotion. Because this king can catch this pawn right now
Mm-hmm.
as it stands. There's this rule.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, a lot of people
It's like
learn.
making a square or something
Yeah,
around.
exactly. And what's really funny is there was an interview with Magnus Carlsen asking if he knew the rule, and he was like, "I don't know the rule. I just count." Which for me, I'm like, honestly, it's fair because I don't really
Yeah.
know. I'm like, okay, what is the square? Is this the square?
Yeah.
The king's within the square or something, and then this pawn, I guess it's something like this, and the king gets in the square. So, anyways, we run the kings up. This I think is probably the losing move. So now it's already winning for me. I think the move was apparently to go here. But I'm not gonna turn the engine on yet. But he pushes. I get back. I go here, and now here's where he ended up tricking me. Takes, and I thought I could just promote this pawn now,
I
but
think I remember this now.
yeah, Eskia was commentating. I need to take this
Yeah, I
pawn.
think I remember this.
I take
Yes.
this and I box their king out. And now their only hope is to take this pawn and promote here. But now I just promote.
I can hear Iskia now. I can hear him. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I queen and then he gets one square away from promoting. But now this endgame, I just check
Mm-hmm.
and he probably goes here. Um, there's a really interesting there's a couple interesting ideas, but okay. If I give another check, now he can go here actually. This is kind of tricky because if I try to
Yeah.
bring the king in, it's a stalemate. So I will do something like maybe check again. Check here. And then let's say he goes up. Now I just slowly but surely I'll inch my queen forward and
Mm-hmm.
just making sure he doesn't promote or anything. So if he tries to come back, we'll check. If he tries to go in the corner, um, now I can actually bring the king in because he has this move.
Yeah.
And then this is actually just mate. So eventually there's going to be a world where we can bring the king in and there's going to be a mate. So if he goes here, I can check here and check and here. Um, there's a really interesting way to finish this out, I'm sure. But I think in the game, this is also why I just tried pushing the pawn. I thought he would go for my other pawn, but instead he was able to get his king back in time, which is really upsetting. Um, but yeah, how exactly do I finish this out? I don't even know. If he goes here, these in games are actually trickier than.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I go here actually. This is a really tricky move. If he goes here, he's threatening to promote, right? But I can actually just put the king in here. Because guess
Mm-hmm.
what happens if he queens? Now we have mate.
You just win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very tricky. You have to figure that out
Yeah.
if you don't know it already. But once you know it, then it gives you the confidence to be able to queen, knowing that even though they're one square away from queening, and it seems very difficult to prevent them from queening, we can actually
Mm-hmm.
allow them to queen if our king is close enough. We can
Yeah.
sort of force this mating net idea, um, as long as we don't stalemate them. And like I said, our king is close enough. There's these lines where you let them promote because that one move, as long as they're not promoting with check,
Yeah.
then you're in time to be able to checkmate with your king and queen. Um, but the main thing I want to focus on as far as like an in-game lesson goes, it's more so focusing on understanding the imbalance of pawns, either the material itself directly or the pawn structure, and knowing like how to make a passed pawn and where that passed pawn is
Mm-hmm.
going to be. So right now, no one has passed pawns. And then here's where this is a tough spot for me to be in. I think the best move is to give a check and then they go back. And then from there, I don't really know, to be honest. I feel like I'd be curious to see what the engine says. But here, I mean, I came up with this plan. This is not the best plan, but my plan
Mm-hmm.
was to trade the queens off and get a pass pawn. So even though it cost me a pawn to do it, I was still able to achieve my goal. We traded queens off, and now I have the outside pass pawn. And here I evaluated this as good, but apparently it's equal. But it's very difficult to hold as white. White has to
Mm-hmm.
be very accurate here, and neither of us had a lot of time. So we were kind of playing off increment at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also, like, a lot of the psychology of the game is difficult because, like, he knew he messed up, and
Yeah.
I knew I was ahead. So like even though this is equal, like psychologically, I still have that edge of like I'm the one that's still pressing for the win, and like we can both
Mm-hmm.
see this is an advantage. Um, and so he's not even familiar. Like I mean, I'm not even familiar with like how to draw this as white. So that's why like when you play and you look at these things over with the computer, like first off, I'm like I don't know, a bit underrated compared to he's 2000 FIDE. But even
Mm-hmm.
he as a 2000 FIDE rated player, like these are all in games that like we're all just figuring out on the fly. Like people don't necessarily have these sort of positions memorized, but like we have
Yeah.
general knowledge of like, oh, this is a stronger pawn than this pawn, right?
Right.
Um, but the engine will be like, no, this is a complete draw. But like a human's not going to be able to memorize that and figure that out
Yeah.
instantly. So we're just playing on the fly. And yeah, when you get to this position, it's very important to take this pawn because we're boxing the king out basically.
What
And
did you
then,
do? You just pushed the pawn?
yeah, I pushed, and then this is what happened in the game. He was able to come back, and then at this stage, I realized I messed up because now I can't take this pawn.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one last thing to know is that these pawns are on the H file. And
Yeah.
that means this pawn promoting is actually not possible if the king is able to get back in time. So I could just show you how it played out. But even with the outside pawn, like this king is going to have to go all the way back to catch it. And then in the meantime, my king is going to be able to win his pawn, and then I'm going to be up a pawn
Mm-hmm.
again. But the problem is it's the wrong pawn to promote because
Yeah.
here I take the pawn, I go after this pawn, which I win. But then his king is
Mm-hmm.
able to get back just in the nick of time. He gets here.
Yeah.
And essentially, I can box him out from the promoting square, but he then boxes me out from getting off this H file.
Yeah.
So my pawn can never pass my king. Or my
Wait, so did
king.
you draw this or you
Yeah, this is a
lost?
stalemate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought you said
once.
you lost for some reason.
Well, it feels like a loss, certainly.
Well,
Uh,
I think it's pretty good.
so yeah, he gets here, and now my king is
Yeah.
boxed out, and my king can never prevent him from taking the promoting square.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, even though I'm up on an H pawn, it's not good enough to win.
Yeah.
Um, man, I want to show you. There was another tournament game that Phoebe actually just played at Maya. I don't know if you've been following along the Maya action.
I saw the one that you commentated. I didn't get to stick around for the whole thing though. I was wondering how that ended. So I think she was up like a pawn or something maybe when I had to leave.
I think she lost the first game. That was a tough opponent.
Oh, that's the one you commentated was the first one.
She blundered a piece early. Um, or not a oh, it was like a rook. She blundered her rook in the corner, and then she got the knight back for an
Mm,
exchange, but just tough. But there was a very interesting, and I actually I watched you play a game. Um, I'm just now remembering where you could have drawn it, and I put it out to you after the game, so I don't know if you remember or not. But let me
today?
look up. No, it's been like a month or so now.
Oh, I don't remember.
Maya Chess Festival, I think. Where are these boards? Results or games? I wonder if they've separated the streamers out yet into their own group. Oh, maybe. I think Askia knows exactly the game I'm talking about. Phoebe was able to hold a draw. Um, and it might be the under 2000. Okay. Here's Phoebe's games. All right. Allow me to. I have to make a new collection here. Apparently. Or I wonder if I could just copy this PGN. Yeah. Let me add a new game to this classroom. Ba-ba-da-ba. Okay, do you see the new game?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Let me skip to the end here. So, if we look at this position, looks like we've lost a piece somewhere. So, I don't know. I guess. I guess the idea here, this is actually really tricky. Um, this is honestly a little unfortunate. From what I can tell, the idea was that this knight, there's a tactic here that if queen takes, we have this fork, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or even better, perhaps, we could just go ahead and take the knight with check, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, the opponent had a trickier idea, a better idea, They just move the king up, and lo and behold, I mean, look, it even looks so good. It looks like we're trying to win the pawn, trying to fork the king and the queen, which would be really nice. But the king just steps up here, defending the pawn, attacking the knight. And so
Yeah.
this move just doesn't work, unfortunately, because now king here, and it's like, well, whoops, I guess there goes the knight, right? So now they take, we still get this fork, interestingly, but then there's this check. So white is able to just get out of it, uh, really unfortunately. So everything worked out really well for white here
Hmm.
to win the knight. So we're down a piece, which for the most part is losing, right? It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
However, our opponent doesn't know their end games, apparently. And so all white has to do essentially is just trade down, right? So this is a winning
Hmm.
sort of in-game position. You're up a piece. And so they trade off one pair of rooks. They trade off both pairs of rooks. This is now a winning endgame for white, a losing endgame for black. And our rook is more or less trapped here. We can't avoid this trade.
Yeah.
So we trade, and now white just has to try to trade off some of the pawns, and then they're going to be able to win this endgame up a piece.
Hmm.
But it's very important that the bishop and whatever pawn is left. So white can't win with just the bishop. The bishop has to put some more work in along with the pawns because you need at least one of the pawns to promote.
Hmm.
That's the only way white's gonna win this endgame, and that's like a huge aspect of winning endgames is promoting pawns.
Yeah.
So right now white has no pass pawns. The only way you can promote a pawn is to pass a pawn, basically. So they're gonna
Hmm.
have to figure out a way to win some of Phoebe's pawns. So Phoebe puts the pawn on a dark square, right?
Hmm.
Which is pretty smart. And now she's pushing in the center. She's putting the king in the center, which is smart. She's checking. She's checking again. Now she can't keep pushing because the bishop and the king
Hmm.
are both here. So maybe you should just go back. Um, but yeah, she gives up a pawn here, but she gets this positioning with the king. She's trying to win pawns here, which is also good. So now it's a bishop versus these two pawns, and now this pawn is white's only hope of promoting. So white just has to win this pawn and not give up this pawn and prevent all these pawns from promoting, which is kind of a tough task.
Hmm.
But white is able to start by winning this pawn. So I don't know why we wouldn't go here maybe. But it's tough
Hmm.
because you go here and then the bishop will just pass a move and then we're guaranteed to lose a pawn anyways, right? So this is
Hmm.
why the having the extra piece is so huge because you can keep the kings where they are. Black doesn't have that luxury. Black only has a
Hmm.
king and pawns. So these pawns both can't move. The king and this pawn are the only two pieces that can move for black. So if we
Hmm.
try to save this pawn, all white has to do is pass the move. They just move the bishop, and now, if I move either of these pawns, the bishop's just going to take. And if I move the
Hmm.
king, then the king's just going to take, right?
Yeah.
So this is called zugzwang, and
Yeah.
that's
Where you don't have anything good.
yeah,
Like everything you do is gonna make you worse off.
exactly. So in this position, it's easy for me to ask, like, why didn't Phoebe just save the pawn? Well, it's actually not even savable, right? So
Yeah.
she abandons. She's trying to find some sort of repetition. So the king comes back, wins the pawn. We box their king out, and now we're racing towards this pawn. So Phoebe is just trying to hold this king back. And now this bishop does something weird, and now the pawn can push.
Hmm.
Bishop gets on the long diagonal. Um, but this king and this king, this king can never win this pawn now, and this ends up being a draw. So, and this bishop has to come back. So the bishop has one check to give, but has to come back to guard this square. So what could white have done differently? Um, So here, I mean, you can probably this king is going to be able to win this pawn, and this bishop's going to be able to hold and defend this pawn.
Mm-hmm.
And then once the king wins this pawn, then the king can come back over here and win the other pawn.
Mm-hmm.
So the king ran immediately over here. What I would consider differently would be maybe go here. And we're still holding this pawn back, and we're blocking the king from going here. So the king comes down this way, then maybe I can come this way, right? And they still can't push. And
Yeah.
even if they try to come over here, I'm going to be able to get to this pawn. If they try to win this pawn, I just simply save it, right? And now
Yeah.
my king is here. There's no way for this king to save this pawn. So, if the king tries to come over here to save the pawn, well, there's going to be like a similar sort of
Yeah,
ending.
they'll have to like move eventually.
Yeah, we're going to use our bishop to box the king away. So, and yeah, pushing would not be smart because now it's on a light square. So if they go up, we can just wait for them they'll have to yield this square somehow.
Mm-hmm.
If they go here, now I can just run back. If they come back, we can burn the move, pass the move basically. And now they're going to have to give up this square. If I go
Mm-hmm.
here, they're going to go here. If I try to push now, I'll pass the move again. And they're slowly but surely going to have to give up this square.
Yeah.
So, you know, something like this, and I'm just going to win the pawn. If they don't push the pawn, then they have to give up the square. So I'm going to get in. One way
Yeah.
or the other. Check. Here. 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 Burn a move. They're going to have to go. They're going to have to give up the square. Right? I get
Yeah.
in. And now the king is directly contacting the pawn. Give a check. Here. Burn a move. And lo and behold, they're going to get separated from this pawn.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've won the pawn. This is a very simplified version of the endgame. We just lock the bishop in, and we're going to do the same exact process over here.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, our king is going to win this pawn. And then there's going to be, like, even if they try to box us out, we can just burn a move, and then we're getting in. And if they attack us, we save our bishop. If they try to box us out, like, eventually they're not going to be able to. So our bishop's controlling these squares. They're going to have to go somewhere. Here, here, here. We're going to shoulder them off, basically. Here, they
Mm-hmm.
can't go here anymore. So we're getting in. And they're going to try their best to stop us from getting this pawn. But, okay, we can give a check. We can go here. We can go here. Now they have to go here, and guess what? Now the pawn's ours. There's nothing they can do. And eventually we're going to be able to push this pawn through. And it's very
Mm-hmm.
important that the pawn promotes on the same color as the bishop that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like a very well-known endgame. Um, Remember in my endgame, I didn't have a bishop. All I had was the
Mm-hmm.
H pawn. So if the bishop
Yeah.
wasn't here, this would be a draw.
Yeah.
Because this is one of the edge files pawns,
Mm-hmm.
an A or H pawn. But with the bishop, as long as the bishop controls the promoting square, the king can't lock itself in the corner.
Yeah.
But if this was a dark squared bishop, this would still be a draw, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're down a piece, if you trade off all the pawns, like it's still a draw. So it's really
Yeah.
important that even if you're up material, if you're up a piece, like being up a piece versus being up pawns are two different things. So like the general rule of thumb is if you're up material, you want to trade. But
Yeah.
if you're up a piece, you don't want to trade off your pawns because you need the pawns to promote, right?
Yeah.
Um, and if you're up a bishop it's very important to remember what color the bishop controls for the corner,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the light square bishop is controlling this light square corner, and that's the corner that our pawn is promoting. So this endgame was a win for Phoebe's opponent here, but they messed it up.
Yeah.
They didn't know the technique. So they brought the king over here, but this was the wrong pawn. They needed to win this pawn because this pawn is Phoebe's pass pawn. This is the
Yeah.
outside pass pawn. So the king needs to address this because on the dark square the bishop can never get to it.
Yeah.
So it was really smart of Phoebe to now push the pawn once the bishop was not controlling anymore. And the king was all the way over here. So the opponent just didn't know their endgame. They messed it up.
Yeah.
But you now know this endgame, so you wouldn't mess it up.
No, I certainly wouldn't.
It's I messed up my
Definitely
endgame.
not.
I can't believe it.
Well, you had a different
No,
end
I
game than
completely in.
this.
Well, it's similar. I didn't have the bishop. But it was still
Yeah.
the like outside pass pawn versus the other pawn, right?
Yeah.
It's a 2-on-1 here. Um, but yeah, like having this in-game knowledge is going to be really helpful to you when you
Mm-hmm.
make decisions like going into the end game. And once you get there, like how to convert it. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, king and pawn in games, and then there's like the bishop and pawn in games, and then there's rook and pawn in games, which is like one of the most difficult. Um, it's also like some people's favorite. Like they love to trade down into rook and pawn in games, and then just outplay you from there. So
Mm-hmm.
the most important thing with rook and pawn in games is activity. I mean, activity is going to be one of the most important things in general all the time. But I
Mm-hmm.
definitely I think the comment I forgot which game specifically, but I was watching the other day and I was like, yeah, I think our next lesson is gonna be rook and pawn in games because um, I think there was like a decision. I can just set up a new game here. I'm gonna put some pawns on the board. Yo, vampire chicken. Oh my goodness.
Huge. Oh
That's
my goodness.
crazy. Shout out to the vampire chicken. Absolute beast. Um, Thank you so much. What's up, vampire? Hope you had a good stream.
That's true. I do love vampires and chickens, so it's a good name.
We're going over rook and pawn in games. Okay, do you see this new in game? This I just made
Yeah.
this up off the top of my head. Um,
Okay.
but let's say this is probably a draw, by the way. Um, Not that that matters too much. But black plays something. Let's say it's white's turn. All right, and now black plays here. Very active. Almost textbook sort of move.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in this position, I don't remember what it was exactly, but you played something along the lines of like rook f1, which like honestly it makes sense. Maybe like rook here is also decent or pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even best actually. This maybe is a win for white. Now that I'm looking at it, depends. Well, it's probably a draw. Depends on like if we play here and they trade. Now I like well, it's confusing. This is like the outside pass pawn, and we have a 2-on-1
Mm-hmm.
here. So it's like this king could try to win this pawn, but this king can try to win these pawns. Um,
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm trying to illustrate that this is not as good. This is like a very intuitive move because you're defending your pawn.
Mm-hmm.
However, this is defensively thinking. Whereas, try to guess what I think or what you think I think you should do here.
Um,
What's an aggressive, more attacking like move?
I mean, there's a check,
Yeah.
but I mean, if I were to check and they like moved over or something, and then if I take this, they're, well, I guess not necessarily getting, I guess I could go here. And if, or I could go here, or
Yeah.
I could go.
This is probably bad for us because our king is so
Yeah.
far away. Hey,
Hmm.
Dara, thank you.
I
But
also could
this
have went there.
there's no like right or wrong answer. There is the answer I'm looking for, but it's not necessarily the right or wrong thing. I'm just trying to illustrate, like, just demonstrate the difference between this move and this move.
Hmm.
Um, so king positioning is also a very, very important thing.
Hmm.
Like, let me actually edit this board. Let me move the king all the way over here. This changes things drastically.
Ugh.
I
Whoa.
love the comment. Someone said if yawning was a sport, you'd be Tom Brady.
I know. I know. I have a chronic yawning problem.
I think it's my voice or just me in
No.
general.
No,
Uh,
even on days when I don't stream with you, it's just as bad.
no, actually, I had someone tell me that they fell asleep watching my stream, which I
Soothing
take it as a
voice. That's a
compliment.
compliment. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
I think a lot of people do the same with like Eric Rosen or a personal favorite of mine, Chess Network, Jerry.
I
Anyways,
don't know, Jerry.
it's all good. He doesn't really
Yeah,
stream so much, but he makes YouTube videos.
but
Um,
people want you to read lullabies to them. I've literally heard people say that, like read a bedtime story to
I
me.
should do some
So that's a compliment.
audio books
You
or something.
should.
Um, okay, so I swapped the corner that the king is on. Here, like this is a terrible move. Just objectively, you'll be
Hmm.
much better off playing something like king here.
Hmm.
We want to defend the pawn with the king if we want to defend it. Probably we do want to defend it. And now this is a very attractive move coming up next.
Hmm.
Um, so similarly, like let's say the king goes back here. There's this nice idea. We can give a check, and we can give another check, and then we can take up
Hmm.
this pawn. Um, but like ignoring this pawn entirely. Let's say we do something like this, and now they push, and now it's our turn. Um, I I would not actually check here. This
Mm-mm.
check is just helping their king get into the middle, into the center of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So this is another very key factor of all end games. The king is an attacking piece. So
Hmm.
something happens when the queens get traded off the board and we go from a middle game to the end game. The kings all of a sudden become very tough and macho. Like with
Hmm.
the queens on the board, they're very scared.
Yeah.
Once the queens are traded off, it's like there's a full moon, and now the kings turn into werewolves. Basically, the kings want to
Oh, Joe loves
emerge,
Twilight.
and I'm putting it in terms that you can understand. Um, so the king is like, what is it, Edward or Jacob?
Jacob's the werewolf,
Ah,
Edward's the
okay, okay,
vampire.
okay, got it. No, I gotta stick to what I know.
Right, right.
um,
Well, if you start talking about like what's the hat you have? Who is it?
Gandalf.
Gone. Yeah. If you start talking, I won't know what you're talking about. So,
That's okay. Maybe another time. But but yeah, we need to activate the kings. So um, rook here. This is like very nice move. You see how their
hmm.
rook is cutting off our king in a
Hmm.
way, but our king has these pawns for shelter. We could push this pawn, and we can lift the king up somewhere else, basically.
Hmm.
or we could bring the king over, hit the pawn, but we don't want to push here. Or if we do, then we'd have to go back around this way, which is possible. But this king doesn't have like the pawn shelter luxury.
Mm-hmm.
Our rook is completely cutting the king off. Um, so at some point, black's gonna try to push this pawn through. We want to get behind it to stop it, and now they're gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
defend it like this, and now our king can lift up, and their king can't lift up because the rook's cut off. So white
Yeah.
is happy, much happier here than black because our rook is much better placed than their rook. And it's all because of rook activity, right? We want to
Mm-hmm.
go here. This is like a textbook move. Should
Mm-hmm.
be like always a high priority move when you're in a rook and pawn endgame. If you can cut the king off like this, that's golden. This is really good.
Yeah.
Um,
Huge.
a lot of mistakes that beginner players make, they see a check and they play a check.
Mm.
This is not a good check because guess what? If it was
Yeah.
like our turn and we did something like this, the king wants to do this anyways. The king wants to move
Mm-hmm.
up the board, right? Um,
Yeah.
so if we give a check, we're helping them.
Yeah.
And if we give another check, we're helping them even more. I've watched
Yeah.
this happen. People,
I'm sure I've done this exact thing.
you just check the king all the way up the board, and next thing you know, you're like getting mated next move.
Joe's like, I've seen this happen, and he's talking about a game that he watched me play.
No, we've all done this. We've all been there. I've done this. I could probably pull up 10 games where I've done this. It's too many for me to just single it out by one. Uh, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
In the end game, people, you know how like the pieces have point values?
Mm.
People actually say the king in an end game is worth like 3.5 points.
3.5.
Isn't that crazy? That's more than like a knight.
Hmm.
Just because the king is a very important attacking piece. The king can attack pawns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Attack pieces, just being involved, right? So king early on, you castle, tuck him away in the corner. He doesn't want anything to do with all the other pieces. Then once everything gets traded off, he feels much more confident and
Yeah.
he comes
Once
out
all the good pieces are
at
off the
night
board.
and then he becomes a monster. So the kings love the center of the board too, but just the timing matters a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay. There was a game. I think the game that I was referencing that you played, I it would be I think too difficult for me to pull it up, but it was a bullet game. That doesn't really narrow it down much, but
Yeah, I was
that
gonna say they would have to go through a lot
that was the one
to find
where
that.
I said like we got to go over these end games. So in that particular game, it was like I actually remember the structure. Let me set this up.
This guy. He remembers my game better than I do.
It was like this. Um, actually, let's get rid of this pawn. It was something like this. I'm pretty confident it was very close to this. Maybe all these
Right.
pawns were shifted down one, something like that. But they played something like let's say you moved your king, or maybe let's say you push this pawn. Let's say they played here. Now
Mm-hmm.
in this position, it's equal material.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but is it good or bad to trade rooks?
Bad.
Why?
Because of their e-pawn.
There's another reason,
Well, they're
but yeah.
my king's in the corner as well.
Yeah, that's a big factor. So if we look at the number of pawns, it's equal. But
Mm-hmm.
if we look at the quality of pawns, they have the passed pawn, right? We don't
Yeah.
have any passed pawns. If we compare our pawn structure here, it's dead equal. These pawns are pretty equal, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
difference is they have this pawn and we have this pawn, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is not a very good pawn because even though it's an extra pawn, we're never pushing it, right? It's never going to
Yeah.
promote. If the pawn was here, it'd be amazing. It'd be a connected
Mm-hmm.
pass pawn. That would be worth more than its weight in gold. So these pawns are not equal. This pawn is much, much better than our pawn, right?
Yeah.
So here, we don't want to trade rooks here. What would be a better move? What would you do here with white?
Maybe just E1 rook.
Yeah, rook e1 or rook d1. We want to first and foremost avoid the rook trade. That's going to be
Mm-hmm.
the biggest priority. The second thing we want to do is we want to be active. So I like the d file because it's a completely open file. E1 is also good. We're putting pressure on their pass pawn. So probably they would defend their pawn. They would probably go here or here, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they go here, this can be a little tricky because we can force the rook away from the
Yeah.
pawn, but then they can come here or something, which is a little annoying. We can win this pawn, and then probably they should take this pawn. If they take this pawn, then we can come up and we're defending this. If they take here, then both of these pawns are still hanging, and there's no way
Yeah.
to save both. So they can get our pawn and this pawn. But taking here first is probably also fine. They can go here, win this pawn. Um, and if we go after this pawn, then they wouldn't take here, because we could take
Yeah.
here.
They.
They would take here, because that defends here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, probably we just bring the king up here, for example. And then we can try winning this pawn later. But in the game, I saw you trade. You were like, we're equal in material, so surely trading can't be bad. And then I was like, we have to go over
Oh,
end
I don't know if I
games.
said those exact words.
I heard something about equal and trading, and then you were like, I would do it in a rapid game, but I was like, the logic that you just said out loud does not corroborate that, so I wasn't sure. But it's okay because we're going over it now, and it's not uh, a big deal what time control it was. But like, yeah, I would advocate to not trade. The other thing you mentioned was the kings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Notice how when we take their rook, their king takes forward.
Mm-hmm.
He takes towards the center, right?
Mm-hmm.
And our king is still in the corner. We have to move over. So imagine, like, let's say trading is okay. Let's say this pawn was over here, and the
Mm-hmm.
structure was purely equal, and like we're okay with the draw, and we just want to trade. Um, Instead of taking and inviting their king to take, instead what we could do, we could move the king here. And now, if they take, we take, and now they move the king up, it's our turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
White can now move here. I actually saw Eskia talking about this on one of his commentary sessions. I forgot if it was Maya or if it was a previous tournament or something. Um, but I feel like I've said this before because I say it a lot. There's a saying, it's not always true, but it rhymes, so it sounds good. They say to take is a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
So if we take, they take, and now it's my turn, I move here, and now they're gonna move up, right?
Yeah.
The difference is kind of astounding. If we move here and now they take and we take and they go here and I go here and then they go here, guess what? Our king is here now.
Mm-hmm.
So in both lines we get the king here, but in one line our king is already here, and the other line well, our king is all the way back here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the difference is like two whole moves based off of like who's trading who, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about like who's helping who. We don't want to help our
Hmm.
opponent, but when you trade like that, that's exactly what you're doing. You're helping them
Yeah.
get up. Whereas if we go here and they take, they're actually helping us. Even better if like if our rook was here, for example, and now we move here, the difference is even bigger because now
Hmm.
by the time they're here, we can even win this pawn.
Yeah.
So that's a really subtle detail, perhaps, of like, oh, in both cases it looks like the rooks were traded, but it's actually huge in terms of the resulting position of like, in this position we actually win a pawn and we have opposition. Their king's gonna have to yield something. We're gonna be getting in somewhere. Like this is like the
Hmm.
difference between winning or losing is in
Yeah.
these small little details. Us taking them versus them taking us, right?
Hmm.
That's going to make you a better player. And if that difference is going to help you win games versus lose games, the rating difference is going to be even bigger too. And so that's like a little detail that stronger players, it just kind of comes more naturally to them.
Hmm.
These are areas where I could see you improving a bit more. And like, also if you're like, oh well, it's a bullet game, like it doesn't matter, then that's gonna reflect in your results as well, right? Um,
Hmm.
and I think that like in bullet, you still have time to like make some decisions and like make good moves versus bad moves.
Hmm.
So a lot of times I will lose on time because I'm like, I can't find a good move and I'm just going to flag. And I think, there's some merit to that. You could also just be like, all right, well, I'm just going to play fast and try to flag them, even though I'm down
Hmm.
a queen and two rooks. Like, there's merit in that as well. But I think if you're trying to get better at chess, making good moves is going to be better for you as opposed to
Hmm.
playing quickly and winning on time. It's better to like play good and lose than to play fast poorly and win. So bullet, like ultimately, it's not really a tool to like get better, I would say necessarily, but
Hmm.
it doesn't matter if you're just trying to have fun, which I think is hopefully the case.
Yeah.
But sometimes I see you lose at bullet and then you say some bad things, and it's like, wow, that was that was not ideal.
Don't listen to me when I'm playing bullet.
Yeah,
What I say when I play bullet, I don't mean
okay,
it.
okay, okay. It doesn't count. It doesn't matter. Got it. All right. Well, you want to play some bullet or
Stop. You do not want me to play bullet.
I mean, I'm down. I'm down.
I'll play rapid.
Oh, okay. Curious.
I've been playing bullet today as you saw, and it's not been going well as you saw. So,
Why not? What's been happening?
uh, too slow, bad moves. It's like both of the you should you have to have one or the other. If you're gonna play bad moves, you have to do it fast. I'm playing bad ma moves and I'm doing it slow. So,
Yeah, that's a bad recipe.
yeah.
Um, well, all right. Yeah, I've been talking a lot about in games. Obviously, when you play, it's gonna be a full game. So I don't really know uh how the game review is gonna be if I can look past the opening in the middle of the game. Um, but yeah, if you want to play, I'm down to watch.
Do you did you have something else in mind? I can play
Honestly,
bullet if you want me to. What do you want? What do
uh,
you want me to
that's a great
do?
question. I just want you to play whatever you think is your best chess.
Okay. Then it's not gonna be bullet.
Okay. All right.
You have time for a rapid game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see it. Let's see what you're made of.
All right. I'm gonna take my headphone out then.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
Probably not Bug House, PKR.
Okay, 15 plus 10.
That would be a whole new chess lesson, I feel. All right, Jesse, with the 15-10 game, we've got whites e4. We've got a Vienna against e5. Shout out to Igor, big tastic. I don't know who
Play Bug together. You don't
Igor
want to
is.
see me play Bug House.
I would love to watch
It's not
Jesse
good.
play Bug House. Okay, we have a King's Gambit against a Vienna. I feel like saying King's Gambit for black is just kind of weird.
Mm, do I
But
push
this is
that?
certainly a gambit.
That's the
Certainly.
question. I will, I think.
All right, F3. Yeah, it can be tricky to accept gambits. I know Feingold is disturbed.
I feel like I just have to keep in mind they have this check here, but I think it's okay for now. I think I'll castle on the other side. Okay, so I think they're gonna go here now, to be honest. So I could do that maybe.
That is a good question. Well, she played her bishop to c4, so d3 would have blocked the bishop. Good move here is d4. But it's interesting because queen takes. There's going to be knight here with tempo, but the problem is with this pawn push. This is just a very weak king here. Yeah, queen
Where's
e2,
he going? Oops.
and it's hard to bring this knight out. So it's mostly f3's fault, for being honest. And you could blame f3 on not taking on f5. This is already getting to be tricky.
All right. I did assume they were gonna check me there eventually, and I think it's fine.
I should play some music. All right, king is back, resetting on its starting square so that she can castle, probably.
Okay, So I want to stop them from going here. So probably I'll move that back. Move this here so they can't go there. Okay, I kind of want their knight like out of my grill, so I think I'll move this here. No, that's fine. Now, will I take back with the knight or the king?
What's up, Adam?
I could
All right.
move this
So yeah,
or what
it's
else?
tough when you can't castle. What's up, Hayden? Shout out to Hayden. Let's see what Uncle Jesse does here. I like knight here. Computer doesn't seem to like it so much.
I could take this, and he takes. Then I go there. Mm, much to consider. I go here though. Maybe I should. No, I can't go there. Because then they could castle if I put this in the way. I would get this, I guess, but
I don't know why the computer hates knight d5 so much. I'm a fan of
you
knight
know what? No,
d5.
I think that's
It likes
okay. I think
trading and then bringing the knight back. Yeah, here, this is the move I would play. Computer likes bishop d6, but the bishop d6 is kind of a passive backwards move. But it is the best move to save the pawn. Jessie's creating a threat of her own. And this is the step in the right direction, even though the computer says it's still not good. But it requires black to make a passive defensive move. It also likes taking on e2, in which case we can take. Um, Interestingly, if they take on e2, we don't want to take here with a fork because our knight's going to get trapped and they're going to be able to save their knight. So they'll get both knights for one rook. Okay, opponent found the best move. Makes sense. They're defending the pawn. The only other way to defend the pawn would be to put the king here, and then they can't castle. So it's kind of sad. Or they could have castled, and then
okay.
they'd
So
still
he
lose the rook
defended
with a discovery check, which would have been nice too.
to go take. He
Anyways,
takes.
so yeah, she's looking at this. Taking and then playing c3 is very logical.
I do need to
She
move
could
this
also
bishop
start with c3, but then our knight's
as
going to be
well.
stuck back here. When we push, they're going to take the bishop here.
Here they
So it's better to trade
get
this,
that.
have them
So
take, then play
I think I'm gonna
c3.
do this.
So yeah, she's starting off with a trade, which is smart. So opponent should take with a knight. Otherwise, if they take with a pawn, it's pretty bad. Maybe we can win this pawn. Too bad we can't castle, which will be funny if she tries to do that later. We'll have to keep an eye out.
I'll move this out.
Whoa, takes with the pawn. So this is really bad. The knight would have been
Wait,
really
this pawn
good
now,
here.
actually.
And she sees
I
that
didn't
this
expect
pawn
him
is
to take
hanging
that
now.
with pawn.
Yeah, she knows. She knew. She knew instantly. So she should take with either knight or with bishop. Both are good. Probably you take with the bishop because the bishop is the only minor piece she hasn't developed yet. You're
This guy doesn't
Lafong,
really
but your username says
have
Hank.
much going on.
How do you explain yourself? Explain that one. All right, she takes with the bishop. Very nice. And now if bishop trade, the knight takes. So Jessi is officially up a pawn, which means she's winning. She's winning. She's better. She's threatening to take this pawn. She's also threatening to take this bishop, then deliver the fork, which is the best threat in the position. That's right, Norfolds. How could she lose when she's winning? She's up. Okay, trade. Now she should take back, which she does. And now this bishop is preventing the king from castling. She's ready to go back. So the computer actually likes 97. They go here. And
Okay,
now
so
computer actually likes 92. That's kind of crazy.
I mean they're probably gonna castle. I
Yeah, I
guess.
guess
What
going
else to
here, they
say?
castle long. Jessi's probably trying to castle right now. Let's see.
I could probably
Oh, she's too
start
smart.
to move my rooks in the middle.
She should probably move the king up. Or knight back. Goats OG, thanks for the follow.
Mm.
King up. All right, let's see. They might castle. So she's connected her rooks. She's officially fully developed. She needs to get the rooks in the middle. But yeah, love to see full development. Queen's off the board. All the pawns are connected. She hasn't lost a single pawn. Opponent, meanwhile, has lost a pawn and has doubled pawns.
The rooks in now.
So yeah, opponent has castled long. Expecting to see a rook here. Rook in the center. Nice. Shams with the raid. Hello, thank you. Welcome.
This is gonna up to
Hope you had a good stream.
nowhere.
I saw you were on Jesse's podcast. Different Jesse. Yo, Shams, thanks for the follow, dude. I appreciate that. We're watching UncleJessi, a different Jesse, play Rapid. She cannot hear us. And when I say us, I really mean me. I'm assuming she can't hear you guys. But she can read the chat. Okay, so I'd like to move this knight because I'd like to move this pawn. Because I'd like to kick away this knight. So I would consider knight e2. The computer's saying rook h3 for the time being.
Move the other rook too.
She's gonna bring this rook here probably. Computer actually likes rook f1, which is also a little funny.
Should I go here and push that? Maybe. I don't know.
All right, what's she thinking? What's she saying over there? She's looking at trading
I would
bishops.
be down to trade, I think.
Yeah, that'd be good too.
My pawns. I haven't. I have all my pawns, don't I? That's crazy. Okay.
She could trade bishops with
Okay, so
check.
I take with check, I guess, and
Computer
then
likes knight e2 still, which is kind of crazy.
move my knight here or something.
Knight e2, I figured just c5. Yeah, I think the last stream I had, I was on Jesse James's podcast, National Master Jesse, from Complete
Maybe,
Chess,
maybe he could, I guess, defend that.
and
So
I think he just did a
maybe
podcast with Shams. Take care, Shams. I'll have to tune in to the podcast episode.
if I could get there, but
So yeah, I'm starting to see why knight h3 was a top engine move because it wanted to control g5.
let's not
Now that black has
trap
played g5, it's
the
difficult for us to
knight.
play f4. So here, apparently there's only two good moves. Knight e7 is the best, and
Seems like a good square
f4
to
is the
be on.
second best. f4 is a tricky move to play here, I think. So knight h4 or knight b4, I think was gonna be tempting. But the problem is after a5, we actually lose the knight. The knight has nowhere to go. So knight e7 was the only legit move, and she found it. She's gonna have a new home. She can't go here, but she can certainly go to f5, which is gonna be also good because she's threatening this pawn, and she's also within checking distance, which is always nice.
My gosh, Show's getting all the rates today. You said like a million.
We've gotten 3 raids today. Very appreciative. And yeah, 2 subs. White Noise for 84 months, which is ridiculous. I think that's 7 years, if my math is correct. Okay, so
Oh my
Jesse
goodness.
Jesse has some
You
luxury here. She can go for
see
the
that? You
fork,
do.
or she can take the pawn. Both are good, but of course the fork is going to be better here. She's winning more material. All right, so she is up a pawn and she's up an exchange, and this is actually
All right.
deceivingly tricky.
Thinking I go here and then
So let's see
now I just gotta
how
knock it first.
let's see
That's
how she
what I have to
converts.
do.
This will be interesting to watch the technique. We'll peep the technique.
I could also double. Okay. I'm gonna go here.
All right, rook f1's a great start. Love this. Creating space for the other rook as well to join the center. We didn't want to play rook to d1 because there's 3 pawns on the d file. That's not opening up anytime soon. But the f file is where we're going to see some progress here. So this is a pawn that can't move because of the knight. Here we
And
want to play
then
g3.
um
We really want to play g3 here. It's okay if we don't, but just know.
Well,
She could play rook
also go
f2,
here.
king f2, the computer's saying.
Push
Also,
that.
look at how good she's playing. She's using her time.
Um,
She has half the time her opponent has, but she has
double
3 extra points of
lead.
material. Wow, we're getting raided by the St. Louis Chess Club. Shout out to St. Louis Chess Club. I have to go visit. Okay,
Take it
g3 would now be a mistake
there,
or
not
even
there,
a blunder.
there, not
For
there.
those of you joining us, hi, my name's
Well,
Joe. I actually
let's
live in
not
St.
let him go
Louis.
there. That would be
And
no good.
I'm very lucky to live in St. Louis because of
Okay, maybe my
St.
rook's
Louis Chess
bad.
Club
I'm scared of the knight. Can I
specifically.
be honest with you all?
You're hearing Uncle Jesse's concern about this knight. She would love to kick the knight away, but she's gonna get forked here. So she has to either move the king
I
or
don't
the
want to go
rook
more
before
in the
she can
corner
push
though.
this
Yeah, that
pawn.
seems kind of suspicious. If I go
But
here,
yeah, shout out to Uncle Jesse. She cannot hear me. She has her headphones out,
he could
so I'm
push
not
that,
helping her in
and
their game.
then I have problems, I think. Okay.
But yeah, shout out to the chess club. They do weekly tournaments on Fridays and Saturdays, and
Maybe
probably
I
more
will go
days.
in the corner.
I think they're covering the
Okay.
Grand Chess
I could come
Tour
here
right
too, I
now.
guess.
She could also bring this other
My
rook.
dad keeps calling me. Hold on. I
Uh-oh.
need to text him back.
Uncle Jesse is giving time odds. Sorry, I'm
Okay.
not playing viewers right now. We're
I'm gonna
watching
go
Uncle
there,
Jesse
I
play.
think. I don't want to get forked.
She can move her king. Wow, she goes here. So yeah, today's lesson, we really want to focus on endgames. Um, and right now she's doing much better. She's winning. She just has to convert. So we'll see the technique that Uncle Jesse is giving here. So now she's probably gonna play g3.
Okay, what if I go there? Is that fine?
I heard the St. Louis Chess Club try to raid me another time, and they
Okay, push
raided
that. He takes, I take.
someone else
He
that was
goes
like
here. Okay, I'm gonna go here.
just Joe Bruin spelled wrong.
And
So
then maybe push my pawn or something. I
I'm
don't know.
happy to hear that they got it. They got it through. So
Go there. I'm scared though.
all right, when is she gonna play
Okay, where
g3?
can you go? I think
When
I
is
will
g3
maybe push
coming?
that. He takes, I take.
Yeah, it's
I
tough
go there.
because her rooks can't play because they're just swarmed by all of her pawns. She hasn't lost any pawns, so
I am
she
low on
has all
time,
8 of her
and
pawns
my
left.
opponent.
And the way to activate your rooks is to open files, and the way to do that is by trading pawns. So g3, this is the pawn break in the position. She prepared it by putting the king on f1 so that knight h3 would not fork her king and her rook. So now she can push, and she's looking to trade pawns. She's hoping to kick the knight away and maybe even play f4 next, which would be great. She'd be creating a passed pawn for herself, supported by her rook. So this knight is getting kicked. The knight's gonna have to move.
Okay, so I thought he might go there, and I thought that'd kind of be a bad move if he went there, right? Because where else is he gonna go? He's like trapped, yeah? So I
So
just like move this somewhere and then bring my king in.
Uncle Jesse's thinking this through. She's sort of laid a trap actually for her opponent. So the opponent dives into h3, attacking the rook, and she identifies that the rook just simply moves out of harm's way, and now the knight is misplaced here. King h2 will actually threaten to win the knight.
Where's this guy going?
There is one move that saves the knight, g4. She can take that pawn, and then the knight can escape by g5. Uh, but
I
then
guess
she
he
could
could,
take another
well, I
pawn.
mean, I
But
guess he
yeah,
could get out of it. I guess
let's
maybe he could.
let's see if Uncle Jesse forces her opponent to give up this pawn here. Yeah, so Uncle
Right,
Jesse
I
could
go here,
take this.
I take. I
She,
could push it as well. I
I'm
don't
not
know
as
that I
big of
would
a
do
fan
it.
of pushing.
I
Pushing
take that
is
one too.
like a logical move, attacking the rook, but the
Mhm.
problem is this structure stays alive, and it's very annoying for the king to have to deal with this. So taking, I think, is best, which is what she does. She's now renewing the attack on the knight. The knight does have a square to go to now, but Uncle Jesse can take
Okay,
another pawn here.
and then I don't get forked, right?
So she's clearly thinking about it. She's worried about knight here, but she sees that the king is covering this. So she has
Okay,
just
so
won
I
two
have
pawns now.
5 more points material than them. That's pretty good,
And
I
now
think.
the next plan here, she needs to
Let's
control the
bring this here.
only open file. She needs to put the rooks on the F file here. What's up, Theo? How's it going? After this game, we're gonna review her games, so it might be a while before she plays again.
Would be cute to trade rooks.
What's up, Ice Pulse?
I mean, if I go here, I guess he doesn't have another option but to trade.
Yeah, Uncle Jesse is 1440 rapid. She's around 1,000 bullet. I think she mentioned this move, forcing the rooks off the board, which is very, very nice. Are you her coach? Yeah, we're doing a lesson right now. It's like a coaching session, basically. Beautiful move here. The rook has nowhere to go. Rook has no moves, so Jesse can trade rooks here. What I would do, I would actually double on the F file. I would completely ignore this pawn. I would let them take me. I would not take them. So she trades. Now she should take the F file again. She should
Bring
not
this
allow for the
here.
knight to hop in.
Where's he gonna go?
Although, to be fair, if we play rook f1, they could still hop in with check. We could actually sack the exchange back and just go into a winning king and pawn endgame. Um, but that's also why I wanted to double rooks before I traded, because now black has this option to play knight f4. It's not a good move, but I have a feeling Jesse won't actually sack the exchange here. So the opponent can go ahead and take on d3 and try to land this fork. I'd be very happy if Jesse sacked the exchange. That'd be very awesome to see. Okay, this move, um, not very good. She can either take or she can pass. Probably taking is best. There's also rook f5 check, which probably she should have done before the knight got to
Just
f4.
thinking like he,
Let's see if Jesse sacks the
I
rook.
just trade.
Oh, she sees it.
Like he takes
She sees
if
it.
he takes this
She's cooking.
or yeah, like I have a lot more pawns than they do. Like low key.
This is so smart. Chat, she's cooking. Is it true that Elo is a bit inflated recently? Look at that. She sacked the rook like Gotham chess. Now, she can take this pawn, or she could push this pawn. And now this pawn's actually immune. In fact, this pawn is just a goner, as in it's going to be a queen. And we see resignation there. Beautiful.
Huge.
All right, I can't wait to go over this. This was such a smooth game with her.
Okay, my
What's
headphones
up? I
back
am
in.
Naki. Good to see you. Welcome back, Uncle Jesse. How'd you feel?
At the beginning, it was like a lot of defensive moves. I feel like they were being kind of aggressive, but um after we traded some things, I felt better.
Well, it was a very
It
good
was a little
game.
weird at the beginning.
Yeah,
Thank
we'll
you.
we'll go over it. I think even though we're focusing on the end games, we'll still go over the opening a little bit.
Okay.
Panda, thanks for the follow. Also, I don't know if you saw this, but the St. Louis Chess Club sent a raid, and so they all went from
Oh,
watching Fabi, Prague, Vincent Keimer, and Wesley So to watching your match, which
wow.
I don't
Very
know.
similar level.
I don't know if they had as clear of a conversion as you did in their games, but I'm sure it was a very similar
That's
level of
huge.
excitement, at least.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I don't know, Theo, if the rating is inflated. It might be. It feels like it, at least. I would think that it is, but I don't have any evidence or statistics or data to back it up. It feels like it could be. Um, I agree, Gary. This was a very solid
Thank you,
game.
Gary. Appreciate
So
it.
e4, e5, this is standard stuff. This is the Vienna that you seem to like this. I always bring the bishop out first. Typically, people
Mm-hmm.
bring out these pieces first, and then castle.
Yeah, that
But
makes sense.
here, Vienna, and now they do this. This is a weird move. You should take this pawn.
Okay.
It's very awkward for them. Like they probably will play here next. But if they do something like this, you can already give this check, and this is like almost game over. Not quite, but it's like they're gonna have to do
Mm-hmm.
something disgusting.
Yeah.
Um, if they go here, we'll take, and they can't take because the
Yeah,
rook
get the rook.
hangs. And there's a fun line where if they attack your queen, you can actually ignore that. What's the strong
Mm.
move here for you? This is a really fun move.
Am I just pushing the pawn? Because if they take my queen, I would take their rook with, yeah,
And you'd make a new queen.
yeah.
You lose your queen, but you get a brand new one.
And I took the rook while I
And
was
you
at
win the
it.
rook too. Isn't that crazy?
That'd be crazy.
I could see you doing that. That'd be so baller.
Well, hopefully next game someone does that, and then I can do that.
So if you play here, this is called the King's Gambit.
Hmm.
This is a similar situation, right? You have to play knight here to guard this check for
Yeah.
the most part. Um, but your opponent did this is kind of a King's Gambit for black, which is kind of weird. But yeah, it can be scary sometimes to accept gambits, but certainly you should not be playing f3, I don't think.
Okay.
Because you really weaken your king here.
Yeah.
And they get these checks available to them, which ended
Yeah.
up happening in the game. Also, I want to say this queen move is a little weird as well. Another reason
Yeah.
why we don't like f3 is because our knight can't go here anymore.
Hmm. Yeah, I didn't prefer anything that was going on. Wasn't really a fan of the
You're already
start.
defending. When you play the Vienna, your pawn's already defended. So I
Yeah.
mean, even if you do something like this is maybe annoying for your knights, but at least you have pieces developed, I guess.
Hmm.
I don't know. There's a weird world where you can play here. You play here. This is kind of interesting. I don't really know. But I do know that f3 is just kind of an awkward move, right?
Hmm.
Okay. And yeah, queen here is also awkward. It kind of likes pushing d4 here because if they take, we take back with the queen. And if they develop with a tempo, we can threaten this nasty checkmate.
Mm.
And the whole idea of this pawn push is twofold. The main priority is we're striking in the center and we're opening up for our bishop. That's the
Hmm.
second thing. This
Yeah.
pawn structure is starting here. This is the base, right?
Yeah.
So this pawn is blocking our bishop. Our bishop can't even move really. Um, but if we go here and they take, like I said, we have this, and this is also falling. This is weaker at least, and we're threatening some stuff. Even this is an idea, and if they go here, we can just trade. And now here we have this really funny
Mm-hmm.
move, bishop check.
Oh, and then I get their queen.
Yeah, if they take, we win the queen. If they don't take, well, then they're going here. And that's not very healthy for them, is it?
Yeah.
So, and we don't even have to do that. We could just simply take, and now they can't castle.
Yeah.
We can develop our knight, and we're ready to castle. Um, but yeah, computer likes this move. Another idea, we could just like play knight here, try to get ready to castle. Here's the big problem with f3 is like the bishop comes here, we can't
Mm-hmm.
castle. Queen comes here, this check's annoying. Like especially after this, if you don't like, let's say you do something like this, and they just give us this check. This is really awkward, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now we push, we have the same problem but in reverse. We can't take
Yeah.
because they take here. And if we do something else, then they could threaten to win the rook and make a new queen.
Yeah.
So the pawn is really important for shielding the king, the f pawn. So we don't want to push f3 if we can help it. This is
Yeah.
kind of like the last resort move. Otherwise, you're gonna have a lot of trouble. So you mentioned like the opening was a little weird and defensive. It's mainly because you pushed f3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's better to just take. You don't have to deal with defending the pawn. Otherwise, you
Okay.
could push d3 and you're blocking your bishop, but you're opening for this bishop and you're defending the pawn with this pawn. And if they take, then our bishop opens up again. If they don't and they push like they did in the game, then at least we haven't pushed our f pawn. We can just develop here and castle
Mm-hmm.
still. Or we can go for this idea again, right? And we're trying to attack their pawns this way, and we could still bring the knight to
Mm-hmm.
f3. Okay. So instead we have queen and bishop here. Yeah, the queen here is blocking our knight, and now knight here lands with a tempo, which is a little annoying. So queen here, like we have to think about where we want our pieces in castling. So like knight here's the much better move. Because now we're also prepared to push d4 again with support from the knight and the queen. And the king's ready to castle, and when we push this pawn, the bishop and the knight are both attacking this pawn. And we're just bringing another piece into the game. So
Mm-hmm.
we want to bring our pieces in before we bring the queen in. The queen here actually just becomes a problem. You're blocking your knight, and we have to deal with another
Yeah.
attack against the queen. That's why one of the opening principles is not bring the queen out too early, because
Mm-hmm.
um, when the queen is out, the pieces can attack your queen easier, and you're going to lose tempo. And we're going to be falling behind. So here's this check. This is a very awkward block, right? Because we can't take back.
Yeah.
But interestingly, the computer actually prefers it. I actually have no
Oh.
idea why. Um, if I were you, I would play like how you played. The computer wants you to play King D1 here. But I like that you blocked with the queen because you don't have to deal with this trade.
Mm-hmm.
The downside is your king has moved and now you can't castle, right?
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
other line, it wanted you to put the king on D1, so it's not like you can castle that line either. So this is
Yeah.
good. The really annoying thing though is that we allowed this check to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because we pushed the f pawn that this is a check.
Mm-hmm.
So because we pushed the f pawn, we can't castle anymore.
Yeah.
If you had put the knight here and they went for this check, now we can do g3. If they take, we have to take with a
Mm-hmm.
knight. But now we're
Yeah.
pinned, and we don't really want to castle here because this is really weak structure.
Mm-hmm.
So the main takeaway of your opening that's going to save you a lot of time and effort is just not pushing f3. But this is also just a really awkward opening that they would play here to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, let's look at how this happened. So we trade, so we can't castle. They go here threatening the fork, which you defend, which is good. Now you develop the knight. Here, I like this move. You're threatening the fork, right? So you're forcing them to
Hmm.
defend. Now you trade. They take really weird. They should take with the knight. And then
Yeah, that's what
here,
I expected them to do.
yeah, probably you would play c3, I hope. Just attacking the knight.
Hmm.
Probably they take, you take. And if they go here, then this is actually really a tricky spot. I figured you'd go here, but this is kind of an awkward position or structure. But the best move, apparently, you can take this pawn because it's pinned. So that's
True.
fancy. Real fancy pants move there. Um, but yeah, they take with the pawn, and that leaves this pawn hanging because you're attacking it twice.
Hmm.
And here you have a decision to take with the knight or the bishop, and I think you took the better way because this bishop hasn't developed yet,
Yeah.
and this knight has. So you're taking with the underdeveloped piece, and they trade, which is probably best for them. Otherwise, you're threatening to take, and then you fork them
And then
still.
fork, yeah.
Um, you're also threatening to just win the pawn outright. So like if they castle, well, that's really bad too. You just take the.
Yeah.
But let's say they move like here, which is a terrible move. Of course, you could take the bishop with check and then play here and attack the rook, but it's not with a fork anymore.
Hmm.
But this structure is just terrible, so this is probably still good. You could go here and you're probably picking up this. Maybe they defend it, but my point is that instead of taking the bishop first, we can actually just take the pawn. Computer doesn't like it nearly as much, but yeah, it
When
takes.
they take my
Oh, I
bishop
guess. Yeah,
instead.
I guess they would because our. I thought we were winning the rook, but then our knight gets trapped here.
Hmm.
So I forgot our bishop was hanging because the bishop is defended by the knight. So yeah, probably we just take, and this structure is just terrible. We don't even have to go in here anymore. But I was trying to show this tactic is that if they take the knight, we've won a pawn, and it's
Hmm.
there's a name for this. I don't know if you've learned this or have heard of this, but it's called an X-ray. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, you've definitely said it before.
This is like a rarer tactic, but it's two pieces are attacking something through something else.
Hmm.
Um, anyways, this is a bad tactic because, like you said, the bishop's hanging. So even if we get the rook, it's not worth it because our knight's gonna get trapped in the end.
Hmm.
So really, it's like two pieces for one rook, which is better for
Yeah.
black. But yeah, they traded here, and we just take back, and so we're up a pawn, but we can't castle. So here, I would probably put the king on d2, if I'm being honest,
Okay.
because I want the rooks here and here.
Hmm.
Why do I want the rooks there?
Because those files are more open than like the D file.
Yeah, exactly. The d file is the most closed of all the files. There's three pawns there. And the E and the F files are the most open because
Hmm.
there's only one pawn. Black has no pawns there. So rooks like open files. These are technically semi-open files, but we can expect, like if this king castles, which they do, we can expect black wants their rooks here and here as well, right?
Hmm.
And I don't want my
Yeah.
king opposite their rooks. So yeah, rook or king here, and there's potential problems down the line. And okay, you bring the king over. And eventually you bring this rook back. Let me turn this off. So I was going to say probably when you move the rook here, we have to ask ourselves, like, we have two rooks that could go to that same square. Which one's better?
Hmm. Yeah.
So probably we want this rook here and this rook
Hmm.
here. So when you go here, you're kind of trapping this rook in.
Yeah.
This rook doesn't really want to be on this file. Okay. So, but like in the grand scheme of things, in this position, so you've won a pawn, which is great. You traded off queens, which is really good because you can't castle. So at this point, you're like in the middle game, heading into an end game if you trade off some pieces. And also, you haven't completed development yet, so it's really good that you played a king move here. And you're focusing on getting the rooks in, which is also really good. Probably could have like put the king here, put the rooks here and here, but you
Mm-hmm.
have the right idea, which is really important. Here, I'm probably moving this knight back. Or like you did, the king back is also good. Um, and what's funny is we want the rook back here to put the rook here.
Yeah.
But okay, anyways. Now they're like, okay, we're gonna attack your king. And probably you could move this knight. Um, and the idea is this knight's like probably their best placed piece, just right in the center.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to push your f pawn. But you came around to it actually. This bishop trade is also very decent. You know you're better, so trading is good. So if they take, you probably take with a knight. Or computer even says you could take with the pawn to open up the file. But okay, you trade, you go here, and now this is where it's actually a little tricky. Did you consider going to b4 at all?
I don't think so.
Why not?
I kind of just, where's my mouse? Right away looked at like, oh, I don't have any control.
Oh, maybe I should keep it that way.
Um, I kind of just looked at this right away because I was like, I feel like this is a good square to be
Uh-huh.
on. Like, there's nothing to really kick me off, I guess.
Would there be a problem if you went knight b4?
Am I trapped? Probably. Yeah.
What could black do?
Um, they could push their what, a pawn? Because I can't go there, there, there.
Yeah, you get trapped.
Yeah.
You'd lose a piece. So that's
Yeah, that'd be
that's
bad.
good to note. Um, yeah, it's good that you see there's a new home for your knight on f5. This is a really good square. There's a name for this kind of square.
Outpost?
Yeah, because there's no black pawns that can kick your knight away.
Yeah.
Your knight is as safe as can be here. This is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly, at at this point, the computer liked knight h3 to prevent g5. Because our idea, we wanted to push the f pawn, right? To
Mm-hmm.
kick away this knight. So our knight's got to move. This pawn's got to move. But if they can play g5, it's harder for us to play f4. So when we move the knight, well, when we don't move the knight, even, they have this option to take up space and to
Mm-hmm.
kind of clamp down on this f4 pawn break. So even though this isn't an outpost square for their knight, this pawn's never really kicking this knight away, and this
Mm-hmm.
pawn now has to work a little harder for it.
Yeah.
So this knight was like a thorn in your side. It was kind of annoying. Um, so yeah, here they set themselves up, and you fork them, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
You also have the option to take the pawn, but the fork is
I know.
better.
I looked at the pawn, but I was like, no,
It gave me
that
that.
works better.
Yeah, so that was good. You take, and now you put the rook back on the f file, which is right. They go here, and now at this point, you lifted the rook. So what was your thought process here?
I wanted to double the rooks. That's
Okay,
it. That's all.
why?
Feel like they're just stronger like that.
Okay, and then what would you do after they're doubled?
I would have pushed the F pawn.
Okay,
Well,
could you?
I guess not yet, because the knight's there. So no, I guess I wouldn't have. I don't know what I would have done.
All right, so this is the long-term planning. So like, yeah, doubled rooks are good, but like, what good is it if they're staring at a pawn, right? So we need to open the file before the rooks can really think about doubling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so when the knight moves here, what do you think is the point of that?
Um, to stop me from pushing any pawns.
Like which pawns?
Well, I can't push F or E.
Okay. So what do we do about that if they want to prevent us? Let's get some specific here. Which pawn do we really want to push? The E pawn or the F pawn?
Mm, the F pawn, because I mean,
Yeah.
this is if I push this, it's not protected by anything.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. So so how do we prepare for F4? Does doubling our rooks help prepare for F4?
no, maybe I push this first.
Yeah. This is a really good pawn push because of two things. First, we're preparing to push F4. This pawn just directly
Mm-hmm.
supports pushing the F pawn. But the second reason is because it boxes this knight out.
Mm-hmm.
This knight can't go to F4. This is something that this move sort of telegraphs what they want to do. Their knight is controlling the square, right? So it's very awkward if they land there. This is a great square for any knight because it's within checking distance of your king,
Yeah.
which is really annoying. So after they play here, now what we really want to do is play g3 because we're like, this knight's so annoying. Let's get it out of the way. And we're
And then I get
stopping.
forked.
Yeah, so if you push now, you get forked, right?
Mm.
So the timing is really important here. We
Yeah.
try to double our rooks first, and now our opponent gets in. And now we try to play g3, well, we're getting forked. We just set ourselves up here. Whereas if we start with g3, there's not even knight f4 possible,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Because our pawn's controlling it. So now if they take, they still can't go here. Maybe we don't even want to double on the f file. Maybe we push our king and we put the rooks on the h file. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But now with this g pawn, we're able to push f4. So it's just a lot harder for us to work for this pawn break um, if we don't address the knight landing here first. So I think there's a couple things going on. First off, you identified you want to push the f pawn, which is really good. So we're basically going into an end game. You're trying to activate your rooks, and you haven't lost any pawns. You have all 8 pawns. There are no open files,
Yeah, that's crazy.
which is where the rooks want to go, right? So how do you activate the rooks? You open files. You have to trade pawns. You need to find what's called a pawn break. And you've correctly identified that you want to push the f pawn.
Mm-hmm.
But you've also identified that you can't because it's controlled. So you put the rook here, like, which is also smart. You didn't just start with g3 because again, this is just a fork.
Mm-hmm.
So you put the rook here, so this is really good. And then after this, you needed to find g3
Mm-hmm.
now because then you're preparing for f4. But you doubled early, and now you had to figure out a way to push the g pawn
Mm-hmm.
without getting forked. So I would have put the king on the corner here and then gone for this. Um, you put the king here, and now your plan of doubling rooks is going to be really hard.
Yeah.
It's just kind of an awkward spot for the king to be in, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So probably better to put the king in the corner and then try to go for this. And what's funny is here probably we just put the rook back. So yeah, trying to double was a little early,
Mm-hmm.
but okay, you made it work. You finally kicked the knight away, and then you were really smart. You realized the knight's trapped here, so you just save the rook, and then you bring the king over. Also here, it's a little detail. I would probably just go here.
Yeah.
Not a big deal, but okay. Yeah, you find a way to win material here. They have to give up a pawn. You thought about pushing, which you didn't, which is good because then this knight's never leaving really.
Mm-hmm.
So you take the pawn for free. You take a second pawn for free. They have to move the knight again. And now here, immediately I'm just taking the f file, which
Mm-hmm.
you did, which is great. And now here, you were able to force the rook off the board, um, because it's trapped. But in this position, you traded. What do you think I would rather do or recommend here?
Mm. Now maybe um stack the rooks.
Yeah, let's double them now. And this is something that I had brought up before the game. What's the rhyme?
To take is a mistake.
Yeah. So this is a very clear example. Um, let's look at the difference here. So we take. Now, if they really wanted to, they could give this check. Not that it's that bad, but something like this could happen, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
They're attacking this twice now. Um, okay. They take, and now we put the rook on f1. Guess what? They can still give this check. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, we can
And they
sack the
did.
exchange, and that's still really good for us. But we don't want to give them even that option to have. Like,
Mm-hmm.
imagine the pawns were not in our favor, and this doesn't necessarily work out for us.
Yeah. If the
Then
pawns were not in my favor, I wouldn't have done that.
you wouldn't have traded here.
No, I mean I wouldn't have sacked the
Oh
rook.
yeah, no, that's smart too. Um, but now we're maybe even losing a pawn because we're getting forked. So the difference is if we double the rooks now, they can't give this check, and if they take, that's a mistake because now we can take
Mm-hmm.
and we're attacking the knight. We're our rooks already supporting the pawn, and if they don't take, let's say they do something else. Now we take, they take. They don't have this check anymore, intermezzo, because our rook's there.
Mm-hmm.
Takes, and now we can bring the rook in with check. They go back, and now we can go forward. We can push the pawns, right?
Yeah.
Um, the difference is we put the rook here first, and now when we take and they take, we're already on the file controlling it. We have the option to come in with check.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we're really dictating the pace. So we invite their king in the middle. Now we take the f file, and now they have this check, which is kind of annoying. But luckily, you're smart and you're up a lot of pawns, so you realize you could just sack the exchange here, and it didn't matter. But like you invited the king all the way in here,
Mm-hmm.
whereas we could have given them nothing. It's really a matter of like counterplay and controlling squares and what we're giving up. Like we don't necessarily have to be giving up this sort of control if we don't want
Mm-hmm.
to. Um, this is kind of like a suffocating style of chess. Like we're giving them nothing, and it's just really
Mm-hmm.
demoralizing for them to have to deal with that.
Joe's trying to demoralize his opponents.
That's like the best way to win because you get them to resign earlier, right? Like it's just the most accurate. They feel like they have no hope. Like yeah, you give them an
Yeah, that
ounce
is
and
how
they'll
I
fight
feel
to
when I
the
play
bitter
you.
end.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I also just really like to drive home the point to take as a mistake, right?
Yeah.
Because you wanted to double rooks. Like you went here because you saw the rook was trapped and you know that trading is good. So this was really
Mm-hmm.
smart for you. But you also knew you liked doubling rooks.
Mm-hmm.
And here, like this push hasn't changed anything. The rook still has nowhere to go. So instead of just trading the rook and inviting their king in, we can continue with our plan to double rooks and just make life more difficult for them. Like at this stage,
Mm-hmm.
they have nothing to do. They're just pushing pawns.
Yeah.
Their rook is not going anywhere. You're not in a rush to take it. You can take
Right.
at your own leisure. You take when you want to, which we don't want to
So
do it right
true.
away. It's too soon. We're helping them if we do that. We don't want to help.
Mm-hmm.
We're not giving them an inch. So they push. We can double now. They can, do whatever else. They're gonna run out eventually. And now we can take on our terms because now we control the file, right? And now we force them back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their king is making no grounds. Their knight has nowhere to move forward, right? If they
Yeah.
go here, you can demonstrate your superior in-game knowledge and sack your rook here still, and now you just start
Mm-hmm.
pushing, right?
Yeah.
Um, but in the game, what happened was take king steps forward, right? There's this check, which is good that you found this, but still annoying that like this didn't even need to necessarily be a thing. But we take king takes, he's attacking our pawns. Like in the other version, the king was all the way back here. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm just being a perfectionist. Obviously, what you did is still perfectly good to win the game. I'm just trying to help increase your chances of like finding
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
better moves in future games where maybe you're not as winning. This is just some ways to help you. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, here this was really smart. You saved your pawn. You had a choice to either take here or to push, or you could even defend the pawn. But pushing is really smart. They need to go backwards, and then you could take the pawn, and they still can't take because you're just
Yeah.
promoting. So they go here, and you're just promoting, and they resign. So this is game over. But yeah, I mean, it didn't seem like you had any problems once the queens were traded off.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it was the start that was the struggle, but after the queens, I felt okay.
yeah, F3 hurt you a bit out of the opening. You
Mm-hmm.
couldn't castle basically because of that.
Yeah.
Um, but once the queens were off and your king was a bit safer, it was like they didn't really have much going for them. So and they
Mm-hmm.
took really awkwardly with that pawn
Mm-hmm.
capture here. That cost
Yeah.
them a
I
lot
think
as
that
well.
really, yeah.
Yeah, because then you just won this pawn, and then once you were able to finally get the f4 pawn break in, it was easy, smooth sailing from there. Um, so really solid conversion technique, from Uncle
Thank you.
Jesse in this one.
Thank you.
She won that pawn, and then she never looked back. Yeah, there's a little bit of like technique that we can like clean up a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I basically said everything I needed to say, and I mean this is a lot different than like your bullet games.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
What's your peak rapid rating?
Like 1480
You haven't
something
hit
maybe.
1500 yet.
No.
You know who hit 1500 in rapid?
Who?
Cash Carbon.
Oh my gosh, Cash.
You guys are actually
That's
so
you.
close in rating.
Yeah.
You guys could do a match.
Yeah, we've never played each other before. We
Oh,
should.
and apparently Boner Pole is as well.
Huge VP, huge.
Shout out to Boner Pole. All right, how do you feel?
I feel good. How do you feel?
I feel good. You want to do one more?
Yeah, I'm down to do
So
another.
this time you could maybe go even harder on your opponent. Not even giving
Okay.
them any counterplay.
No hope. I want them to feel demoralized, as you say.
like like Grandmaster chess we're about to see from
Right.
Uncle Jesse.
I do have to pee real quick though, so give me like 1 sec.
All right, I'll allow it.
BRB.
It's kind of a funny thing to say.
And I'm gonna call my dad back real quick, so like just
Oh,
one
that's
sec.
important. You guys, Uncle Jesse left her dad on red just to play chess. I mean, talk about true degeneracy. Is the queue open? Let's go. TJ's next. Just kidding. Um, all right, Yamar wants more blunders in the next game. Um, we'll see. There's always a chance. I don't know if Kukalo is still here, but hello. Welcome in. All right, TJ. Monitoring the queue. Appreciate that. I'm also live on TikTok. Shout out to TikTok. Um, I have to get going after this next game, so hopefully we'll end on a good note. Well, that game was a very clear win for Jesse. Never in doubt, certainly. Opening was a little weird after F3, but she quickly recovered. Oh, my light works now. What's my elo on chess.com? My blitz is about 2300. My bullet also around 2300. My rapid is only 2279, I think. So we're lagging a little bit behind on rapid. Elo's over 9,000, not quite. If you add up my rapid, my blitz, and my bullet, it's also not over 9,000. I would need over 3,000 average on all three to be over 9,000 total. That would actually be really cool to see. We should have an over 9,000 club on chess.com and only have it be players that are over 9,000 combined rating. And I'm sure there's a handful of them. I mean, there's like people that are like 3,200, 3,300. Like, I don't know what Hikaru's strongest rating is, but is Hikaru's chess.com just Hikaru? Probably not. It's probably GM Hikaru, if I had to guess. Oh, maybe it is just Hikaru. Okay. Yeah, his best was 3469. Nice. His bullet, he's at his highest bullet was 3570. Dang, dude. So probably I don't know what this rapid would be. I need to edit my command so that it includes rapid. Um yeah, rapid is typically a lot lower than the other ratings, I think. I don't think as many people
Okay,
are spamming rapid
we're
games.
back. Hold on.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back. We were just
Thank
comparing
you.
your elo to Hikaru. Just kidding.
Um, Pretty similar.
Yeah, it's the same order of magnitude for your.
Well, yours is a lot closer to his than mine is.
We would stand about the same chance against him.
That's true, I guess.
To
All right.
Hikaru, you and I are the same rating.
That's messed up, but probably true. Okay. Ready for the next game?
Yeah, we're
Okay.
all on the edge of our seat.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll take my headphone out then.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
All right, game number two. She's playing again with the white pieces. Oh, and she's playing against a Caro Khan. I was wondering if we'd see a French from a French opponent. She's played d4. You love to see it. e4 and d4. Just beautiful stuff out the gate. Opponent follows through with d5.
All right. Now, do I take or do I not take? That's the question
To
here.
take or not to take? That is the question.
Do I push? Do I take?
There's a famous quote that rhymes that says to take is a mistake, which is funny. Because in this position, I think it's probably fine, but um, the computer doesn't like it or recommend it. There's a third option. You
Hmm.
could take, not take, or you could do something else.
I feel like it gets harder to defend once I
Wait.
push it.
Yeah, I figured if you're not taking, then by default you're or if you
I'm gonna take
never
it.
mind. Anyways, you were thinking like you could take or you could defend the pawn, but the third option is that you could push the pawn, which in a way is defending it, but also it's either way it's not taking. Uh, so yeah, but yeah, you could advance the pawn. Probably best was to defend or push, but
Yeah, I did have a feeling they might do that, and I think that's fine.
it's funny. Against the Karo Khan, I like to play the fantasy, which is pushing f3, which throws everything we just talked about out the window from the last lesson. So I cannot wait to tell Uncle Jesse about that and completely confuse her. Wow, they're giving up the bishop for the knight. How exciting. Yeah, rest in peace to
And now I'm
Dolly.
gonna cast it.
Castling's such a great move here. c4 is also strong. Let's see if she plays c4. Probably not.
Do I
I
not
I would assume she doesn't play
bring that out?
c4. But that'd be a great move. Yeah, knight c3 is a very natural, logical move.
I'll probably push this eventually.
Rook e1 I also like. I'm a fan of personally. Bishop out is also solid. She's pinning the knight to the queen. So opponent could move the queen out. They could play f6, but I think that would be bad long term. D takes e4, f takes e4, e5. It gets sharp though. Yeah,
Okay, I think I push this
I
now.
believe that. I would probably take the e pawn, and then you probably bring your dark square bishop out or something. Try to go
And
here,
then I
something
bring
like
this
that.
out somewhere.
Yeah, I like this structure. I'm a fan of this. Putting the knight here, maybe here. Maybe the queen comes here. Yeah, f3 is the fantasy. That's what I play. So that's the line PKR is talking about. All right, queen coming out. So this develops the queen, but it also gets the knight unpinned. But it also attacks the b pawn,
Okay, this pawn is hanging
and she
currently.
sees it. So she's maybe considering
I could
pushing
push
it,
this, I guess.
but she should also consider moving the queen Probably we don't want to go here because we're blocking the
Where's
knight.
he going?
Probably we don't want to go here because rook here is kind
And
of
him as
annoying.
well.
Queen here is offering a queen trade, which I'm not the biggest fan of
Maybe I go
personally.
here so that I can still bring that out.
So I would probably play queen e2.
Mm, I could also push it, but I don't know about that.
Yeah, pushing's typically not best.
Maybe it's fine.
Pushing is certainly the easiest, I think.
Hmm. I have to move this off the back rank anyway. Might as well
Okay, she goes to c2.
do it
So
now like
now
this.
rook c8 is going to be annoying because this pawn becomes pinned when the knight moves. And the knight can already move with a threat, actually. So rook c8 is actually a tempo. It's a threat against the queen. Even though there's material in the way, it's easy for that to move. So interestingly, the computer's saying the best move after
I
rook
figured they
c8
might do that. They're gonna go
is
up
queen e2.
here. So maybe I move this. Maybe I go here.
She sees
Maybe
the idea, I think. So she needs a new square.
I bring this back. I think that's fine.
And honestly,
And I'll
like,
move the queen.
it's easy for me to point these things out because I've like been here before. I like know to expect this. So she's defending the pawn. Um, Knight could still go here though. But yeah, like we've developed the bishop and now we have to concede and move back. Or, we've moved the queen and now we have to move the queen again. So it's like sometimes
And he could take that, and
oh
I
wow, bishop
that's
takes
still
here.
fine. Because if he takes, then I'm taking there.
But yeah, the
What
opponent
else?
is being
Oh,
really annoying here, right?
oops.
So yeah, we're conceding some
I'm gonna
moves,
move this out now.
which is annoying. She's maybe thinking about this, but she needs to watch out. This could be annoying. Yeah, so now probably opponent will take on d4. Probably. Well, they would need to take with this knight, so that's interesting, at least. Maybe they just take on e3, but yeah, they might psych themselves out of this tactic. They might think it doesn't work. Who knows? It's unclear. But yeah, I was saying it's easy for me to say like,
Okay, kind of cheeky thought. Kind of a cheeky thought here. I could take that, I think.
oh, if she sees this, that's really great.
Depending on what they do next, but
But yes, very, very big asterisk, perhaps. But very smart. She recognizes this pawn is overloaded, protecting two things at the same time. But yeah, I think over time, like as long as Jesse's playing enough and reviewing afterwards, like it also helps to have a coach like tell you things that you could do differently. But like putting the queen here, just kind of walking into rook c8, um, that's an easy fix, right? It might cost her in this game a move or two. It might cost her a pawn. Yeah, okay, so here they took the wrong way, which is kind of funny. Low-key, this
Okay,
was my
okay.
same thought initially as well, right? Like you just move
I
the knight
take,
here.
they take,
So she
I
needs to take with
cannot
the
take
pawn here.
there.
She takes with the pawn now before it's pinned. Because right now it's not pinned. This knight hasn't moved. They needed
I
to
could
take with
check
this
though.
knight.
They would
Which
move
is,
back, probably.
just don't. She needs to just not take with the bishop. Taking with the bishop loses a pawn.
I take, they
She's looking
take.
at this knight back.
I,
But she needs to look at
yeah, if I check, they're
pawn
gonna move
takes.
back.
She
So
needs
what
to
did
see
they, this
pawn
got a
takes.
pawn. Okay, that's a bummer.
You thought I was an NM? No. I've never been over 2000 USCF. Let's see her fine pawn takes. She was looking at
I
bishop
mean, if I
takes.
took this now, if I took that way, is that crazy?
Okay, she sees it.
What
She's
if I
out.
took with the pawn? Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
They don't
she's
have any
out.
checks, like,
She's
with their
outsmarting
knight.
her
What if I took
opponent.
with the pawn?
Opponent blundered. They messed up the move order or which piece to take with, I guess.
I take with the pawn. He takes back there. It's pinned.
Yeah, actually, so what's funny about pawn
I
takes is
like
that the
move here
knight's
or
actually
something.
pinned to the rook.
He
So
has
they can't
this.
even take because we just take the rook.
Okay, hold on.
So take, they could only move the knight backwards to defend.
I take with the pawn.
She sees
He
it.
takes back, attacking my queen.
She just takes the rook
I come
there.
here.
Does she see the rook is hanging?
Is check. No. Yeah, no, that'd be fine. If he went there or there, I could take back either way. Okay.
Take that. Let's go. Free piece. Jessi getting bailed out a little bit here.
Wait, that's pinned. He can't even move that.
Now she sees it.
I'm tweaking. He can't even move that.
Um, don't you love that they see it just on the fly? And the opponent's realizing it too. Yeah, opponent needed to take with the other knight, and then she would have lost a pawn. But now we're up a piece for a pawn, but a worthy price. Yeah, opponent just developed. They're like, all right, I need a castle. So let's see what UncleJessi does.
Okay.
So
Well, now what? Now what?
she can double on the c file.
He's gonna castle.
She can move the knight. She can
Probably
push her pawn.
I should move my queen eventually. Because once he castles, this won't be pinned anymore. So, um,
The computer is recommending one of the most insane moves I've ever seen. Bishop d1. I couldn't even begin to
push
explain to
this.
you what on earth that does. Maybe we're like really genius five heading bishop here to realign on this diagonal. Yeah, it's very difficult to calculate all these moving parts because you're looking at one position, but in your head you have
We'll
another.
go here.
So sometimes you have these like
I'm
phantom
down to
ghost
trade.
pieces.
I'm down to trade pieces now.
I wonder if she's considering a3. I certainly would consider a3.
Maybe I go here.
A3, and we're inviting the trade. We'll have a bishop pair. Two bishops versus one singular knight, which would be a very
I
good
go here.
advantage.
He could take that, I guess. And then maybe that wouldn't be so good. Okay, so maybe I won't go there.
Yeah, shout out to Chess Lover. Yeah, I'm around 1900 USCF.
I could go here, maybe. That'll be pinned again. He's gonna move it soon. Okay, I'm thinking way too long on this.
You're convinced 14 to 1500 is harder than 15 to 1600? I mean, probably not, but it can feel like that sometimes for sure. Even like in other games, there's like that curve of knowledge. I don't know if it's like the what is it, the Dunning-Kruger effect or something. How about knight b3?
Okay, here, and then we bring.
Yeah, I
Well,
thought
no,
knight
then
b3
that's
is a
hanging.
move too.
I could go here.
I think she should double rook c1.
And maybe trade queens. If I go here, he takes. I'm taking this
Yeah,
way.
queen b3 is really solid too. b4 is kind of funny. Queen trade is a very practical choice. Very solid, very sensible. Maybe even disciplined. When you're up material, you want to trade, especially the queens. Unless you're like on some sort of checkmating attack, then you keep the queens on. But this is far from that. So, and she's getting the queen off the c file, which is going to be helpful for her in the long run. I wonder if there's knight takes d4. No, we just trade queens. They get the bishop intermezzo, but then the knight takes back, and then our bishop is defending. So we get the pawn back, at least, and we've traded more. So we like trading. All right, opponent has wisely declined
Okay,
the queen trade, but
so
now
here,
let's hope she
weaken the
finds rook
knight
ac1.
again.
Rook ac1 is a beautiful move. Really just getting down to the basics here. Developing one of our
If I go
rooks
here,
onto
he
a
could take
open
there.
file,
I
pinning the
take.
knight to the queen.
He takes. I take with check. Okay, I think I'm gonna go there. I wasted, maybe not wasted. I used a lot of time on that move, I
She's down
think.
4 minutes. What would you say best way to get to 2000? Um, just keep practicing, keep playing. You got to review your games and learn from your mistakes. So making mistakes is okay. You just have to learn from them. So it's okay to play and lose. In fact, that's one of the best ways you can get better is by losing. You just have to make sure that you learn how to not lose. Because otherwise,
Okay, this
you're going to
knight
make the
is
same
like
mistakes and you're not going to make
kind of
progress.
not doing much for me. Okay, I now I double the rooks.
As long as you're learning from your mistakes, then it's
No,
good to make mistakes.
I can't do that, can
At least in chess.
I? Well,
You have to get really comfortable with losing. Otherwise, chess is really painful. Probably not
I
healthy.
want this knight somewhere else.
If you're a sore loser, it's not good.
I could go here.
Is she thinking about doubling? Doubling would be good.
Okay, maybe I go here.
I would double the rooks.
He could just move the queen, probably. If I go here,
I think she's gonna get into time pressure soon.
this bishop's bad too.
Would I say Catalan is worth
Okay.
learning if an intermediate player? Yeah. I feel like You play Scotch Gambit at the moment. It's pretty easy to have a
Okay, if I
plan.
move this, then I could move that.
Yeah, I would say that below 2000, the opening is not so important. Like as long as you're getting to an end game or middle game and you're not down, then the opening is not that important. I would say
I'm
that
gonna
you're
go here
better
and
off
here.
spending your
Maybe
time on other
we'll
things
see.
like tactics or end games even. Um, that's assuming you're getting out of the opening unscathed. If you're losing games out of the opening, you got to focus on your openings. I feel like that's not rocket science or groundbreaking advice. I love giving generic chess advice. It's so fun cuz it's like the answers are like seemingly obvious. I don't know. People ask the same question. It's like, how do you get better at chess? It's like, oh, you practice, you play, and you try to learn from your mistakes. I don't think anyone has some secret to like become
One
2000
day I'll make an escape
or
square too,
GM.
so I don't get back rank mated, but
Now would be a great time to play G3. We'll
okay,
see if she
so
goes
I
for
think I
it.
still go here. Then he can't take that. Yeah, I can still go there or something.
Yeah, that being said, like if you want to learn an opening, like it's not gonna hurt your chess. Hi Adam. You were 500 ELO 3 months ago and you're 600 last month. Any advice for 750? Just keep going, dude. It sounds like you're crushing it. I mean, if you're below 1,000, I think you're still making some pretty obvious blunders. Wow, queen takes here would be quite the fun move, but it would be a huge blunder.
Okay, this could be crazy.
Oh no.
This could be crazy. Okay, I have a thought though.
This is like one
What
of
if
the
I take this pawn?
biggest this is like one of the biggest brain moves I've ever seen. Oh my God, it's
Is that
so
crazy?
it's so diabolical. This is the call an ambulance meme unfolding before our very own eyes. She needed to play G3 a move ago. Hopefully she plays G3. This was a absolutely mad genius.
I might do it. I think I might do it.
Also, this doesn't
No,
work because
no, no,
not
no,
only
no.
because of
That's
this,
a
but
bad move.
but
Because what? He checks me there.
they can
I
also
can't do
go
that.
here.
Okay.
Oh,
I
thank gosh
wanted
she
to
saw.
though.
This blunders twice. It blunders in two
Darn
fashions.
it. Could have been cool.
This was the first thing that came to my mind, and it also came to her too. And then
I could go here maybe and then do it.
okay, even if you block the check, here we get hit with this intermezzo. And if we take the pawn's still pinned, but there's rook takes, which is really annoying. So we cannot be going for these
Okay, I
tricks.
could also just start to trade stuff as well. I'm up 2 points material. I need to make moves, but maybe
She does need to make moves, that's true.
more practical moves. I don't know.
I was thinking doubling the rooks on the c file a while ago. Honestly, getting the bishop back would have been nice. I think g3 is still very
Okay, I'm
nice and put the bishop back.
I'm just really I'm feeling that, okay? Okay.
Hopefully she's not feeling that. But
Hear me
oh dear
out. Hear me
Jesus.
out, people.
This is so cute though that the opponent I have to give some mad props to queen d7. God, dude, I love that so much from the opponent. So cheeky, sneaky, and it might pay off for them too because Jessi's really, really looking at this. She's gonna get hit by this still though. Can you play me, Adam? Sorry, I'm not playing viewers today, and I think this is gonna be the last game as well, for me to watch. What's up, Keegan? You've watched Danya speedruns. Love how he explains his thought process. Yeah, definitely. Oh,
Ah,
opponent. I would say they jumped the gun here.
okay.
I thought there was still
My plan's
some
been
potential left
been
for them.
ruined.
Maybe they didn't see, or maybe they just didn't have any other moves. But yeah, I would say besides playing and practicing and reviewing, doing tactics and puzzles, I would highly recommend watching videos, watching higher level gameplay, watching like top level players and having those moves explained. Like not just watching their games on their own, but like having some commentary over it, having somebody digesting the moves, explaining the moves, can be really helpful. At least for me, it was. Okay, so this move, obviously attacking the bishop, can attack this bishop as well. So kind of aggressive. Can open up for the rook.
This
Uh,
could no, this is okay. Only because this is here, I think.
at the same time,
This
though,
could
it could be very
be
weakening,
kind
right?
of sticky for me, I fear.
We'll see. Yeah, luckily opponent's on the clock, so they're thinking. They're probably looking at this,
I think I need to start
maybe even
training.
this.
Shit. I'm scared.
Yeah, Jessie needs to get some stuff in. She's scared, but she's up. So let's see what she comes up with. Actually, so this pawn push attacking our bishop, I was thinking we could just go in here immediately. Because if takes, we take. But the problem is, here takes, they just take here. And if we take there, then they could take here and we can
Okay.
exchange, but we'll have lost both bishops for one rook. The good news is we're already up a piece. So we've got that going for
I
us.
will move this
Here,
somewhere.
so she's got to move the queen. She knows. Can't go forward anywhere, really. So she's got to go backwards. Or she can go queen d3, which is seemingly the best option here. And this she finds we don't
Can
want
I
to
just
play
pre-move this or what?
or spend too much time there. Do I stream on other sites? Yeah, I'm on Twitch and YouTube. Thanks, Kirax. I appreciate you asking. If I don't know, Kirax could have left by the I could have taken too long to answer. You want to play me next? Sorry, I'm not playing. I'm not even playing. I'm just watching. You could join UncleJessi's queue. Not right now.
Oh
Her
my
queue is
gosh, I
closed.
really. Well, then I lose this
But
pawn, don't
Uncle
I?
Jesse plays viewers all the time.
I really need to go faster.
Yeah, she feels the pressure. She should play rook c2. She should just defend your pawn. She's found it. Nice. Yeah, Uncle Jesse plays viewers on Sundays. It's a great day to play. Alright, she should double her rooks. Rook f to c1. A beautiful move. Especially now that the rook is lifted. She's threatening to
Okay.
attack
Okay.
the knight. Okay, Uncle Jesse. She's diving in, so to speak. What she wants, I don't know. But she's all revved up and she's ready to go. You're here, you're enjoying it. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I don't always read the TikTok chat, but um sometimes I do. Yeah, it's hard for me to know. Like it tells me there's a certain number of viewers and there's a list of them, but I wasn't sure. I would say my main platform is Twitch. Shout out to Twitch. It's where I started. It's where I have the largest following and audience and community. Yo, Felix, thank you for the 100 bits to Jesse. Amazing. Okay,
Oh,
so
Felix, thank you.
Jesse's technically losing a pawn here,
Appreciate that.
but she's simplifying the position. She's trading things down. So now she should trade rooks. She should trade rooks with check, which she does. Now she can develop or attack. We should move the queen, most certainly. And then later she can bring the rook to the c file. But yeah, certainly she played knight e5 a little too soon. She should have doubled first and pinned the knight, which would have been really nice. So now we have to hope she finds her queen is hanging. She does. She saves her queen. So now she should try to play rook c1 if allowed. This knight is hit, so she's attacking the knight. Knight has to find a new home. Or she can try to, or the opponent can develop the queen to defend it, but that's kind of awkward, right? Because first off, queen c7, we still have the rook c1 idea. Rook is defended by the queen, or sorry, the bishop. But probably the bigger issue is we have this idea, bishop to f4, which would pin the bishop, the knight to the queen. So they can't really defend the knight. There is this interesting idea. If they do defend and we play here pinning, they have this move, knight c6, attacking the queen. But that also doesn't work because we'll take their queen. Maybe they'll take our queen. But then we play bishop here, forking. I guess they get this. Oh, it's not even a check. We move the king. That's awesome. So yeah, bishop here, and the knight's gonna fall. Or if they save the knight, then they'll lose an exchange. Now, that being said, even if they did have a check or some way to save their pieces, trades are still good for us. So even if they had a way out of it, we pin them, they attack our queen, we take their queen, they take our queen. Even if we don't get the fork out of it, or whatever, trading down is good for us. We're up material. And what's so great about this move, not only are we attacking the knight, but we are also attacking this pawn. So the most logical move, the opponent can move their knight to attack the queen, defend the pawn, but we still have rook c1 there, actually. We can hang our queen because we're pinning the knight. We can take their queen with check. And if they block with the rook, we trade rooks with check, and then their knight's just hanging. We'll win a piece there. We'll have two bishops to nothing, which is great. So opponent spending a ton of time on this move. Probably they realize they're going to be in a tough spot here. Hopefully,
Can't go there. He pushes that, huh? I could go
I'm going to
here,
bring this up with
maybe?
her after the game as well. Hopefully, I was just going to say that she was thinking. It sounded to me like she was not thinking at all. She was just waiting, which is a common mistake. Rook c1 would just be an amazing move right now. She's under a
Oh
minute
my
now,
gosh. I
and
have no time.
she feels the pressure. Okay, so she saves the queen. This is a very sensible move. Nothing wrong with this. The computer did not necessarily like Rook c1 so much, to be honest. I loved it. Computer liked Queen d1, which is kind of a weird move, or Queen d2, or Queen to d3. I like this move. We're pinning the knight. I'm hoping she'll play Rook c1 at some point soon.
My rook doing nothing.
Okay, she's acknowledged the rook.
I could have maybe gone here, to be honest.
Maybe she's reconsidering Rook c1.
Maybe I'll do that next, but
Yep,
I
she's
probably could
planning
have
on
done
it.
that instead of moving the queen.
All right, let's see it. Rook c1 probably. And okay, so the queen has left the c file, so the knight's no longer penned. But the c file is the only completely open file, so putting the heavy pieces there is still going to be good for us. The slightly worrisome thing
Yeah, very
here
fine.
is that black has these pieces lifted near our king. So we still have to be cognizant that we're not getting some crazy attack against us. So let's see what the opponent comes up with here. She's got under a minute to 3 minutes. So this pawn push is bad because it drops the pawn with check. This pawn push is a thing. Can maybe go bishop d4 or just bring the bishop back. Yeah, this bishop is defending the king for now, but if we push this pawn, this h file could become weak. But they might push this pawn and it's a little more awkward for us to push, so. Yeah, I'm glad the opponent is thinking because I feel they could really put some time pressure on UncleJessi. They thought a lot on this knight c6 move. Okay. Queen over, as I was expecting. This knight's a really annoying piece, so I would really consider pushing b4, b5. Jessi's under 30 seconds. Okay, she's going for it. Strong plan here. Opponent could play a6,
Oh my god.
but we can insist with a4. This is really getting down to the wire here. This is going to test UncleJessi's nerves if she can remain calm under time pressure. Okay, they have played a6. Logical follow-up here would be a4, right? Let's see if she goes for it. She does. Very smooth, very smart. She gets the picture. Okay. Pawn push. Now, crazily enough, the computer said you could just take on f4. I don't even want to begin to understand. Oh, I guess we do bishop takes with check, and then we get something good on the back rank, presumably. But I love this move a lot actually because it's a counterattack. You're putting the bishop on the long diagonal. If the knight takes, you're just trading, which is great. And if the pawn pushes, we're taking here with check. So rook moves, which is very smart. I think she should follow up with b5 if she remembers. That's what's so tricky about these attacking moves, is that it can distract you. But UncleJessi does not falter. She does not stray. She stays true to the path. And she even pre-moved this capture, it seems. So she does have increment. She's gaining time back for every move, which is great. We do trade one minor piece off. Now she's got to watch out for her back rank. And it's very awkward. So her rook... Okay, pawn push is interesting. We don't want to take because queen takes is a really nasty check. In fact, it would be checkmate.
Okay.
But she won't take because there's her bishop's also hanging. Now her queen does cover the back rank check from the queen. She gets one check. King moves. The computer loves rook c7 check. This is a very scary position. I'm not gonna lie, you guys. Not gonna lie. I like queen f4
If I
check.
go here, he's just gonna block.
Yeah, they could block, but then she can go for a queen trade. She can then play queen g4, I think. She's got 10 seconds. She has to find a move. She has a check.
Oh
She
my
has another
god.
check. She finds one check. Rook f6 is fine. She can then follow up with queen c7 check as well. Yeah, this is a really tough spot to be in here with the king in the corner. She still has 10 seconds. She finds a rook check. Um, okay, she can trade queens. Yeah, brilliant. And she's gaining time too. This is great. Great news for our chances. Yes, no more back rank. This was huge for us. Okay, so she should take this pawn, which she does. She's cooking now. This pawn is also hanging. This pawn is also hanging. This pawn was probably going to get pushed, if I had to guess. I think she can take this pawn. Why are people saying queen c7, mate? Here the king can run. But okay. She has a passed pawn now. Um, Rook here would be strong. Lining up with the king. Discovery. Here, this is a beautiful idea. Beautiful. She's going for this diagonal. Yeah, she should be able to convert this. That she's weathered the storm, so to speak. When the opponent got the pawn on f3 and she gave the rook check, it was looking a little scary. Okay, so opponent puts pieces on dark squares, some pressure on the pawn. Okay, so she's just getting behind the pawn. Yeah, not ideal to give up our outside pass pawn. So we get a condition now where we told Jessi we need our pawns to promote on the same color as our bishop. So our drawing chances actually just went up a ton. And if she gives this check, it'll be a complete draw. In fact, she's really low on time, so I don't think she'll do that, but yeah, we really didn't want to trade pawns there. That was not a good trade for us. Okay, she's going for a trade of rooks. She's gonna have to get maybe a little lucky um, with the end game here. We'll see how the opponent goes about things. They could try trading and try to hold this, but in theory, she should be able to win the pawns. And when you have two pawns, it should be a win. If she loses the F pawn, it's like almost impossible to win. Um, but yeah, like leaving the material on is really smart for her. Because she needs to use it to win the material. So this is a beautiful endgame. This is a
Okay.
great example of up a piece.
I'm feeling stressed.
she's feeling she's feeling the pressure. Well, she does only have 20 seconds.
I don't know. I just need to move. Straight up, I just need to make a move.
Yeah, this is not an easy endgame. This is going to be tricky.
Okay, I'm gonna get my bishop to safety real
So we'll
quick,
see.
and then
She said bishop to safety. I would move the king up. I don't know where the bishop wants to go. She's covering this check, so okay, but now the bishop is hanging. Okay, bishop probably not the happiest piece here, but you know, I like this check. I would give this check. You're kind of forcing the king back or on a light square. King up is good. Bishop can breathe a little more as well. Probably check and pawn push. Yeah, she needs to not trade that pass pawn she had. That was such a good pawn. Okay, rook check. Or pawn push. Yep. Also good. Probably h5. If I had to guess. Check. Check. King here. We have this check. King here. Maybe we go after the pawns. Okay, she's going backwards.
Guys, I'm stressed.
Not ideal. Poor Jessi, man. She's going through it. My my motto for chess that I like to say is de-stress and play chess, which is kind of funny. Okay, king backwards. Nothing crazy there. Now we put the bishop
Adjust,
up.
maybe. No. Okay, we're fine. I think we're okay.
Yep. And now we need to go after this G pawn. And we can trade rooks. We can trade rooks because even though the pawns don't promote on a light square, we have two of them. And as long as we win both pawns, then the bishop doesn't even matter. Two pawns versus nothing is a win. Opponent also low on time now. Time is equal. Now she's up on time. So let's give a rook check. Let's give a rook check and let's start walking our king up. The beautiful thing is our bishop defends both pawns, so and there's no more pawn pushes for black. So all they have are king and rook moves. And we're working with three pieces. So we never care about this. I would give a check. Walking the king up is fine, but we're going to get checked. And it's okay if we trade rooks. I would say it's even good, actually. Because then the opponent only has the king to move. So we're happy if they give a check. We're going to walk the king around, and we'll have safety behind our rook. I think UncleJessi is starting to cook. Nice. She's making progress. The opponent has one more check. Or they could trade, which would be bad. So they don't. Now they don't have any more checks. And we're going to be able to walk our king in. We have a check. So let's give a check. King will have to go here to guard the pawn. And now it's slightly annoying. We have to deal with all of these checks again. So we can move the rook back, but I guess they move here.
Forever.
She sees it. And we can go here too. What I'm a little confused on is if we move the rook, what do we do when the king moves back? Because I want to give another check.
Okay, hear me out.
The king f6 is best.
I don't know what to
If we're
do.
lucky, they'll give us a check, and we'll move the king here. If we're lucky. Oh, king e5. King e5. And now we're threatening to trade rooks. We're threatening the fork. And if they move the rook off the sixth rank, we still give a check, and we're forcing the king backwards. And now we're getting in. So let's see her give the check. Please. She might give a check with the bishop. That's kind of awkward. We want to give the check with the rook.
Like I check and then what?
Check and then move in. Computer is calculating mate.
I guess I did go here, actually.
Oh, she can trade rooks actually. But we could leave the kings on it. Oh, we do give up this check, but that's it doesn't matter. Actually, okay, yeah, there's only one losing move. Okay, she goes backwards. But she doesn't cut her rook off, which is interesting. Um hmm. Okay, she blocks.
Okay.
Here?
I have a
Check and
thought.
then king up. King up. And we're winning the pawn.
Yeah, I think I could go here.
Nice. There is this check, but we take the pawn, and then we're forking the rook and the pawn. And if the king goes here, then we have this check, and we win the pawn. So the house is crumbling now. This is move 71.
This game is taking so long. I'm so sorry.
The last capture was here. Move 45.
My opponent wants to chat. They said, ah.
See, this is the will of the opponent starting to crumble. When the pawn structure crumbles, so too does the will. She's making it through. Rook check is a very strong move if she finds
Check?
it. Oh, I'd love to see her give a check. She could also just take the pawn. But she sees the
He said,
check.
I think that's it, isn't it?
She cannot get distracted by this dude's chatting because... Okay, this does force the rook off. She could still stalemate. That's why I said earlier she had this check to force the rooks off, but then you have to win the bishop and two pawn endgame. And it's tricky because your bishop could actually hurt you with stalemates.
He said, unless I can make you lose your focus and blunder.
Oh, they're giving up the rook for free. That is a bold move. That is a bold move. Now king here is mate in 1. King in the corner is mate in 2. So she doesn't even need to promote the pawns. Let's go.
Okay.
Hello.
All right, my headphones in. Hello.
What a breathtaking game.
Oh my God. That was so stressful.
That was great.
Thanks.
So I unfortunately don't have too much time, but I'll go through it
That's okay.
fairly quickly here.
That was took a lot longer than I had hoped,
Um,
but
no, all good. You got the dub. You got you went double dubs here. Back to back dubs.
well, when your coach is watching, you have to play your best, you know?
I think you should try to play your best every time. Okay,
That's
really
true.
quickly here. You can push the pawn or you can just defend it.
Mm.
What's really funny is I play a line. First off, this is called the Karo Kan,
Mm.
and there's a line where you play f3, and this is called the fantasy. I don't know
Oh.
why it's called the fantasy, but I learned this
Mm.
from Danya, and I just always play this now. So in the last game, we said this is a bad move, and in this game,
Wait
I'm
a
saying this is like
minute.
my main line move.
Hold on.
But
Okay.
what I would recommend to you is just push or develop your knight.
Okay.
Both are fine. Taking is also fine, which you did. And now you could just develop like normal.
Mm-hmm.
This is great. This is even better. I'm happy that we did this. Now here, there's this really interesting move, c4. The idea is that if they take, we're taking here and winning the rook.
Ooh, cheeky.
So this is a strong move in general. But okay, castling is great. Here again, this move works really well.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I like rook e1 a lot. Um, Developing the knight is also standard, but the problem is we're blocking our pawn a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really nice to push the pawn and then get the knight out because they're all attacking this one point. And
Yeah.
if we also play rook e1, it's pinning whatever's here to the king. And it's
Yeah.
very difficult for them to get this bishop out. So if you add up all three of these moves, like life is really good for us. But
I didn't do
okay,
any of
you're developing a
that.
piece, which is totally reasonable. If they push here, that it weakens their center and weakens their king.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a good development move. This is really nice and standard, like you're just completing your pawn chain. Here they're attacking this pawn, and now here's where I think you should play queen here.
Mm-hmm.
Queen here is just awkward because they don't have a c pawn, so we know the rook is coming here.
Mm-hmm.
And now we actually have to move our queen again. We should go back to
Yeah.
e2. Because now they can go here or here, and they have a pen.
Mm-hmm.
So we defend this. They could still go here if they want, but they go here, and this is really annoying because this pawn is actually hanging by both knights. What's funny is they just took with the wrong knight. Here, you can
Mm.
also take this pawn, which is a little funny, because we can take the knight with check. So it takes if they take here with tempo on the queen, we take here with tempo on the king. And now we take.
Mm.
If they take here, we take here. And now that's hanging and that's hanging. So we just win a pawn. But
And I think I
you
did
thought
think about
about, oh, for
that
sure. But
after.
after they put the
Yeah.
queen here. But so you
Yeah.
developed, and now this is a mistake because remember this knight is pinning this pawn, or sorry, the rook
Mm-hmm.
is pinning. So they were threatening this, so you defended it, but they're attacking it a second time.
Yeah.
And you didn't address this threat. You didn't
Mm-hmm.
defend it. You just developed. You thought it was not a thing. They needed to take this way because if you take
Yeah.
now, they take here. And if you take here, they
Mm-hmm.
just take again, and you have the same problem. So you're losing a pawn here, actually. But they messed up. They took with this knight. And then you saw this idea as well, but then you're like, wait, what if I just take with a pawn? Because their knight's now pinned, actually. So pins and discoveries work in both directions. It's a two-way
Mm-hmm.
street. So initially they wanted to do a pin against your pawn, but now they're pinned the
Yeah.
other way. So they messed this up. They give you a free piece, and they decided to not give up. They save the queen. Here, I'm just instantly playing rook c1, which you did as well. This is
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. They castle. Here, you kind of didn't know what to do. I would just double rooks here. Lift the rook somewhere and bring the other rook around,
Yeah,
right?
I did consider that.
Yeah,
Didn't
because
do it
you've
though.
already developed all these pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the knight would be better off here, which is kind of what you did, but you went this way, which is fine. The computer liked bring the bishop back this to this diagonal, pointing at the king, which makes sense.
Mm.
Here, we always have to be aware of this attack, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is actually really awkward if they go here,
Mm.
because now, um, I don't know. Let's say we go here, now they go here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, luckily for us, we can take this with check. But when we move our pieces, we just have to be aware of like what their attacks can be. Because here
Yeah.
they get two attacks on us. So if we go here, here, and we go somewhere else, now we're just actually trapping our piece.
Mm-hmm.
This is really sad, actually.
That is
Um,
sad.
so yeah, probably going backward. Like if we wanted to put the knight here, but probably best is to activate our other rook. So I would
Okay.
focus on this file. But okay. Here, and now our bishop's free to come back. Here this was such a beautifully sneaky move. Like they're really baiting you to take this pawn. And it doesn't work as you
I thought
saw
about
because of
it.
the check. That's first
Yeah.
problem. You lose your queen. But the second problem is even after you put the king here, I thought they pushed too soon because if they try to bait you with the pawn again, they could play here. And
Mm.
then your plan is foiled. If you take this,
Yeah, it
they
is.
just take here. So you've lost a piece. So they will maybe could have gotten you if they held off on this move. They played it
Mm-hmm.
immediately, and now it doesn't work. So yeah, here I liked you defended your pawn, and you're also clearing the way to double. I really wanted you to double here. I thought this move was too early because you're only defending the square once. They're attacking it twice.
Yeah.
So you lose a pawn here. You get to
Yeah.
trade rooks, but you lose a pawn. So
Mm-hmm.
let's uh let's double our rooks first and then go here. And then their
Yeah.
knight's pinned because now you just take this rook for free.
Yeah.
So again, this is like
True.
we're not ready yet to dive in. We need to double first, and then this is going to be even
Mm-hmm.
stronger. Or doubling and you're actually threatening to just push this pawn. You're going to win a piece.
True.
Or they'll have to come back, but then you just trade a lot. And their knight goes from all the way up here to all the way back here. And trading obviously is good for you because you're up. So, okay, you lose a pawn here, but you get to trade. And now this is a strong idea. And I think your opponent spent some time here, and I think we're just kind of waiting to see what they would do. But I was hoping you would calculate, like,
Yeah,
here
I
you're attacking this
definitely
pawn, you're attacking the knight.
saw it afterwards.
Yeah, so they come back, and you save the queen, which is reasonable. But I was also hoping you would have played rook c1 here.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they take your queen, you take their queen with check.
Yeah.
If they move, we just win this. We're up 2 pieces now. The rook's almost trapped. If they
Yeah.
move the rook here, we can win this pawn. We give a check. We're just winning everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if they block, we trade rooks off even with check, and we win this. We're just up 2 pieces to nothing. Um, so this would have been like a fun way to try to
Yeah.
be tricky and trade more. But okay, nothing really wrong with this. Now we double. Now we're tied. This was really well played by you under pressure. You found this plan to attack the knight because the knight's really holding everything together.
Mm-hmm.
They're boxing your queen and rook out. So I loved b4, preparing for b5. I like that you played it quickly. I like that you instantly found a4 to deal with a6 because you're still planning for b5. Now
Mm-hmm.
here they try to distract you. You attack the rook. You're following through with your plan here. Takes, 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 takes. And now here's where things get really tricky. This is a very
Yeah.
scary move because if you
It was
take,
scary.
what happens? What do they do?
Um, they take the F3 pawn and I mean they end up winning pretty much. Like I can block for like one move and that's it, and then they win.
Yeah, exactly. We would blunder into mate. So really good that you didn't do that. Instead, you find a check. You found another check. You found another check. You found another check. And you trade queens. So this is kind of like a puzzle position where it's like whose turn it is really important. And the fact that you keep the check is what allowed you to trade queens and to minimize their mating threats. So
Hmm.
this is a really scary move as well because you're kind of weakening your back rank.
Hmm.
But you followed the checks all the way through, and that allowed you to trade queens. And from there, it was like, there's no way you're getting mated. This is super safe now. And you just mopped up the pawns. And this is the last really big moment of criticism here. You do not want to trade off this pawn for this pawn.
Yeah.
That's a terrible trade for you. This is such a good pawn for you.
Yeah, I know it was so close.
This pawn is scary, but we have two pieces, which means it's very difficult for them to really get that pawn through. Our
Yeah.
bishop can go here, and it defends the pawn, and it covers their pawn push, and it
Mm-hmm.
even has a check. Like, how
Yeah.
does this rook attack this bishop here?
Yeah.
Here,
They
we,
couldn't.
we have to not give up the pawn, because when we're up a piece, we can win their pawns without having to give up or compromise any of ours.
Mm-hmm.
We can keep ours and win theirs. It's like
Yeah.
having our cake and eating it too.
Yeah.
Here, you just straight up traded, which now you really have to fight this endgame. And in fact,
Yeah.
what I was worried about was that bishop and pawn endgame I was showing you. Notice you're
Mm-hmm.
promoting on a dark square with your h pawn,
Yeah.
and your bishop's a light square bishop. So that could have been like if you trade these pawns and you trade these rooks, it's now actually a draw. Your extra bishop
Yeah.
doesn't even matter. You could even win both of their pawns as long as you trade everything else off. Like this pawn and this bishop cannot get through the dark square corner
Mm-hmm.
because their king just sits there forever. So, yeah, trading this pawn was very risky and unnecessary. So we can save our pawn and then go after their pawn.
Mm-hmm.
So you just give it up, we trade, and now the pawns are equal. We have a rook each and a king each. You just have the extra bishop. And this is winning, but you have to really demonstrate some proper technique to trade
Yeah.
everything. You made your life a lot more
It
difficult.
was rough.
So don't give up your passed pawns so easily. You have to think about that a little harder next time
Yeah.
before you trade. Our pawn is a lot scarier than their pawn is to them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, and then here you just kind of maneuver your way across. So they probably shouldn't have pushed their pawns. It made things
Mm-hmm.
a lot harder for them. But at the same time, having that extra bishop is what allows you to eventually zugzwang them. So they didn't have a lot of moves to begin with. They didn't really know what to do. They should have just been shuffling their rook. But now they pushed the pawns all the way up the board. And now you work your king in, and this is really smart. So you knew to use your rook as shelter. You kick their king back. And now here they probably should have moved the king back, which would have been really annoying. Um, so I'm not entirely sure what you would do there, but probably like move the rook over or something. But they give this check, so now you bring your king in, so now they can't move out. You're threatening this check, so they move away. You give the check anyways, and now your king can just walk in. They check you, you block, and then you get here, and now you're just mopping up the pawns. And here they probably should have just tried this and then hope for a stalemate because it's very possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because the bishop can sometimes be annoying and kind of in the way. But at this stage, with two pawns, you don't even need the bishop.
Yeah.
But you really need the f pawn. If you
Yeah.
didn't have the f pawn, then this would just be a draw. Um, but yeah, you played that really well, and you had two back-to-back wins.
Thank
I think
you.
it's a good note to end on.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate your time and wisdom.
Oh, it's nothing.
Oh, yeah.
I
Okay.
appreciate your time and your
Of
wisdom.
course. Well,
Uh,
all right. Well, I'll
that's.
let you get to dinner. I'll probably eat too, I guess.
Are you gonna do words on stream?
Yeah, of
All
course.
right. Also, you had a lot of fans in TikTok chat that wanted to play you. I told them that you play viewers on Sunday. So,
TikTok chat, huge.
you should multi-stream.
I know I should. I need to
I'll help you
message you about that.
figure
Yeah.
that out. It's called
Yeah, that'd
Stream
be great.
Elements. It's a plugin for OBS.
Okay. I think I use
Um,
Stream Elements for something.
cool.
So,
Okay, I'll send you the
all
raid
right,
then.
well, have a great dinner.
Thank you.
All right, see ya.
Have a good rest of your stream.
Thank you.
All right, bye everyone. Thanks for being here.
Bye.
See ya.